Date is the 6th Therendor, year of our kingdom 998. The weather is comfortable, neither too warm nor too cold, basically the perfect temperature for dealing with tears in the plains. And our situation, taking a rest after dealing with more than one giant spider. We set out at early morn to travel to the Barrow just beyond the Dalveen farm. Willow led us, as they seem to be doing a lot lately. They're quite good at it, that's for sure, so I'm more than happy to let them take point. Along the road were many trees, and in those trees, giant spiders. I'm not arachnophobic or anything of the sort, but that doesn't mean I want to be covered in spider webs and spider guts and spider bits. Fortunately for me, and somewhat unfortunately for them, it seems N was the object of the spider's hunger. It snatched them into the trees, and I think it wanted to begin cocooning them so it could suck out their juices. Ugh. Unfortunately for the spider, it chose the strongest people in that forest at that moment to try and eat. Fishdog and I made quick work of the spider, and I was able to summon some new abilities thanks to my oath that saw the spider neither juicy nor alive. Speaking of my oath, Willow asked me about it. I was surprised after they ignored my reliquary when I first began to wear it. I thought they had no interest, but they do now. I explained it as best I could, but I didn't go into detail with my reasoning as I did with N. I think Willow sees me as a bit of a... Well, I don't want them thinking I'm some bloodthirsty warmonger, and they only asked about my magic, so I let it rest at that. I even got to show them how much stronger my healing had become, so hopefully they don't see me as threatening. After another bout of travel, we found ourselves at the Barrow. Willow sent Fishdog ahead for recon, and unfortunately it was destroyed by some of the shadows that lingered at the entrance. We made quick work of those shadows and retrieved Fishdog's heart as we were entering the main chamber of the Barrow, where... Well, I did say more than one giant spider, didn't I? A phase spider, to be specific. Where does it phase? Through the planes of existence, I think? It certainly disappeared more times than I would have liked. Anne and I came out a little worse for wear, and Willow... Anyway, after we killed the spider, we tended to the chamber and found undead soldiers left here by none other than my most beloved seeker of the divinity within, aside from myself, of course. It seems as though Elsa left these soldiers here to keep the remains of the pirates from rising and causing commotion. She's so very wise. We might have to bring her back to reset some of the magic that was broken with by the death dogs. For now, I am resting and tending to my wounds, and let's just hope there are no more spiders today.
So, our first roll of the day will begin with you guys taking a moment to head outside and begin your short rest as you recollect yourselves briefly after your scuffle. Or you could try and short rest in here. You've certainly
I would like to
caused enough commotion during your investigations and the battle with the phase spider that if there was something around here that could get you, it should have by now. Certainly the shadows wouldn't be limited by doors, considering the way you saw them move across walls. Yes?
Mm-hmm. I would like to stay
please?
in here for if we're going to rest, and I think Willow's going to rest kind of by still looking at the walls.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the doors. Does it count as a rest? If Willow's just up in the room?
Yeah. As long as you're not doing anything like too strenuous, so like you can just look around.
Yeah.
Yeah, please roll hit dice. Also,
Alright.
N recovers their spell slots.
Yay.
Because warlocks.
That's a few spell slots, but...
Quick recharge.
Yeah. Okay, 4. That's not bad.
8.
3, that's bad.
Fantastic.
Remember to mark off any hit dice that you have expended.
Yes.
Yes.
Yep.
As soon as I remember what 15 plus 8 is.
Crunch numbers. 23.
I'm a doctor, I'm not a math wizard.
Math wizard. Oh, math wizard.
Those exist.
Yeah. No, but just Luca saying it makes it sound like it's... I don't think he knows they exist.
I mean, you never know with him. Or me, I guess.
Exactly. Okay.
And spell slots are returned to me. Cool. Feel a little bit better.
I'm feeling
I'm almost
much
back.
better.
Yeah,
Good.
I'm
You
almost back
can
to full
spend
health.
more than one hit dice if you want. Hit dice recover on long rests.
Yeah,
Yeah. Maybe you should, Anne?
I suppose. Might as well. Don't see
If
why
we
not.
do plan on going home after a little bit of spelunking.
That just brings me up to maximum A. I don't get any extra for rolling higher than my maximum.
Yeah.
Cool. That's fine. Just checking. Cool. That does bring me back up to full, though.
Yay, nice.
Yeah.
Our squishy little warlock is squishy no more.
I'm still squishy. I'm just not tenderized.
Juicy at
Unsquish
least.
the
Stop
warlock.
using that word! My god!
Oh man, look, we're not going to break meta and talk about the recap, but I am dead in so many different ways that I didn't expect.
Mm-hmm.
Never mind you. Okay.
So, you take your time bandaging your wounds, having a sit down, taking a drink of water.
The best life juice.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Better than N, that's for sure.
yeah.
Maybe.
You've managed to clear the webs with fire and knives. So the barrow is looking a little bit better than it was when you first came in here. There's still kind of a chopped up corpse of a phase spider in the corner, but good
Wait.
enough.
Just adds to the ambiance, I think.
I imagine Willow's doing that thing where these are carvings in the wall, yeah?
Yeah.
You know how you can like put a paper up against something and then like shade across it?
Oh, you
Oh,
want to
yeah.
do a rubbing?
Yes.
Yeah, you can do that. The carvings
That's
are
probably
very
like
big though, so you can get
Hmm.
pieces of it, but
Yeah, Willow would just
Yeah.
pick out like a few notable pieces. This is probably what they're doing to rest because they're not going to just
Yeah.
be sitting, hanging around. They're going to be
Yeah.
doing something while drinking
Yeah.
their water.
I'm reclining quite gracefully on the floor.
Mm-hmm.
Anything you recognize?
Is that a question out loud to
Yes.
Willow?
And asks Willow. And is sitting on the ground but watching Willow.
I don't think Willow knows
And
that you're speaking to them.
Willow's not a pirate. Why would they recognize anything?
They're more familiar with the area than we are.
Anybody familiar with stories will know some of these images.
Well, I'm not familiar. Will you tell me a story, Willow?
One day there was a person at sea and they encountered a monster and they killed the monster and now they're dead in a tomb over there probably and we are going to get their treasure.
Oh, we're in the story too, are we?
As of a few minutes ago, yes.
Wow. Am I going to get a carving on this wall?
Willow couldn't think of a comeback. No. I mean, not unless you make one.
Yeah, I think that's
Not
up to
unless
you.
Luca was
Yeah.
here.
Yes!
Kiss mark.
Oh my god. Well, I suppose it depends on whether you come back with Elsa and lay more runes.
That's
Elsa has her mark in this history as well, apparently.
She
Yeah.
does.
You sort of watch as the oathbound skeletons sort of rotate around the room in a loose patrol. They're mostly just like standing still, but every now and then, sort of like every 20 minutes, half an hour, so twice while you're taking your rest, they shift about, examining the room.
and watches them when they do. They're like visibly a bit uncertain about these skeletons.
I
They seem to
imagine
determine an all clear and then
Mhm.
go back to just standing there,
I
close to
imagine
motionless.
Willow's sitting like cross-legged right next to the wall, basically so they can lean
Mhm.
over and like
Mm-hmm.
rub the wall. But I imagine
Mhm.
those are patrolling like along the edge of the wall, yeah?
I mean, not like directly next to it.
Yeah, yeah.
There's like a little bit of a gap.
Enough
They're
that
not
Willow
on top
probably
of
like
you.
leans forward and looks at them, like noticing that they're doing patrols. And Willow's probably going to ask you guys a question. So let's recalibrate. Where did the death dog come from? Here or another plane? Come out of here first? Or no, it came into here first. What did Jack say? What did the kids do? Did they move the stone? Or was the stone already moved?
The Jack said that they had moved the stone, which implies that they were there before the stone was broken.
Right. And the stone was broken by the spider?
Unclear.
Yeah,
Okay.
we don't know what
But
broke it.
the runes were interrupted by the death dog.
Yes.
The scratch marks are any indication?
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Bearing in mind, the
Hmm.
spider did not need to break the rock to get in here.
It can
Phase.
peer in here.
The spider does not need to
It walked
worry.
through us, it can walk through a rock.
Yeah.
I wonder if it came here to nest or if it manifested here.
Again, unclear.
Yeah. I guess Willow's not fully talking to you guys as much as they're talking to themselves, with the bonus if you guys can overhear them sometimes.
What exactly was it doing? Was it going all the way into another plane, then popping out on this side?
It's sort of traveling parallel to our plane, if you think of it that way.
In Mabar or somewhere else? You said just slightly?
Willow looks over their shoulder at you. Are you asking?
Obviously. If you know.
Willow looks back at the wall. It's the ethereal plane. Or rather, border. Well, I guess it includes it.
Oh yeah, that rings a bell from the book you gave me.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like everywhere?
More or less.
Right.
Willow makes a sandwich hand. Think of a
Which-
ghost layer on top of our layer.
Which is the ethereal plane?
The spooky one. One of them. Ooh.
They're all kind of spooky. Remember the one of madness?
I do
Zoriat?
remember the one of madness.
Mhm.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. In any case, it makes sense that spider would be here as well. Also, it appears to have come here to nest, which also implies that it came here to mate. I don't want to think about that, but that might explain why it was eating something else here.
Oh.
So I suppose we should check
It looks a bit
for
sick.
spider babies. Yeah. So
And how do
that's weird.
phased spiders reproduce?
I assume much the same as regular spiders.
Oh, Willow, I had something to ask you.
Off the back of that?
Do spider webs have a sound? The little ones.
And looks at Luca.
Well, looks back over their shoulder at Luca. Pardon?
I noticed that when N was taken by the spider, I could hear the web. It sounded kind of juicy.
Stop
Do
using
all
that word.
spiders?
I don't think I've listened to one before.
Okay. Next time we find a spider, a small one, I think we should investigate.
Okay.
And
Willow looks at one of the
Rolls their
undead
face.
and like rolls their eye. I'm like, get a load of this guy. I swear. You hearing this?
So-
You know how to deal with it?
should
The
we be
skeleton is impassive.
should we be burning that pile of limbs over there, or
Well, I don't want babies to come out of it, let alone ethereal babies.
And we shouldn't smoke out the chamber if we're in here.
I think. Well, we don't know if they're hatched yet.
Wouldn't
If
it
they
take a
are,
while? I
well.
mean, we
We don't know
interrupted
if
its
it was.
meal, so
Is this the kind of spider that has the babies on the inside of it, or does it put them in like a little sack and
I
set
honestly
them
wouldn't
aside?
know, but they could be
it's
on the
right
ceiling.
there if you'd like to do a little examination, doctor.
I kind of don't want to, and I also don't want you to, because we're relaxing. It's a rest.
How big are plain spider babies?
Probably the same as regular giant
Let's
spider
hope
babies.
we never find out.
Except, I think they're on the roof. Willow says, frankly, to you both.
I kind of look up. Can I see them? No.
No, because, like I said, you have cleared all the webs away with fire earlier.
Oh.
Then I look down
I
at
think they
Willow
were on
and
the
Rather-
roof?
squint.
Or rather, you can't see any on this plane of existence.
Yeah, but I saw. Okay. Mim question to Zeke. Did I see ethereal goop, and was that babies?
You saw ethereal goop on the ceiling that is not visible in the material plane. You are not sure if it was an egg sac or not.
Okay, well, they could be. If they stay in the ethereal plane, then that's fine. Until, of course, they don't. And then, well.
Can things just live in the ethereal plane?
It's a phase spider. Doesn't it, by its very nature, phase through the planes? Isn't that how it works?
Maybe it'll just
Question
stay
to Zeke.
there.
How
Is it
many
phased?
babies are we looking at? Like hundreds?
You honestly don't know because, honestly, you haven't looked. You don't even know if it is an egg sac or not. It might be. Could be something else.
And Willow. Oh, sorry. Never mind.
Also, Luca, I don't think you know that, Did Willow say that they're in the ethereal plane?
I think just then I did.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I wasn't sure which was meta speak and which wasn't.
Yeah, I
Any-
think Willow said that they might be on the ceiling, and then when Luca looks up and sees that there's nothing on the ceiling, the implication is that they're on the ceiling in a different place.
Yeah.
Maybe they would just stay in the ethereal plane or go somewhere else? Or is a phase spider's very nature to come to our plane?
Question to Zeke real quick. Phase spiders specifically are they specifically going through ethereal and material?
Yeah.
Not anywhere else. Oh, like can they phase to other places?
As far as you know,
Okay.
no.
Okay. I forgot what Anne asked, but
If they might just stay in the ethereal plane, if they might go to another plane, or are they by their very nature going to come to our plane?
I think it's free reign. Free plane reign. Not to the other planes though, only between the two.
Right?
Fantastic.
Hmm.
Never mind.
Okay.
Can something exist simultaneously in the two?
No.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes?
Ghosts.
Oh, yes. Okay. Okay, Willow says no. Well, ghosts.
Oh. Duncan?
Zeke? I was
Make
curious about
a-
Duncan.
Make a religion check. How well do you know you're ghost hunting?
We're gonna
Pretty
start a
well,
ghost
you'd
hunting
say.
business?
So, as a poltergeist, Duncan, the lighthouse poltergeist, could move in and out of the ethereal plane, and it was always partially in it, which was what allowed it to move incorporeally.
Yeah.
Right.
So when you see shit moving through objects, that's because it is partially ethereal. I assume Willow explains that in
Yeah.
less words.
Yeah.
Or more, we don't know.
I think less in
Less.
this case. It would be vague. He is here and there is how Willow would probably say it. And that's how you had a knives thrown at you. Is it? Or was that booby trapped? Was that Duncan?
That was the house being haunted. That was
House.
sort of a manifestation of
Yeah.
the ghost's will.
Because, okay, so that was his pettiness coming through, not necessarily him.
Yeah.
Him
Yeah.
was him throwing me down the stairs. Yeah. And did he hit Luca? I don't think so.
Yeah,
only
he
hit
did.
me. Did he? When?
I'm pretty sure, like, when Luca was trying to talk to him, like,
Oh yeah,
the
maybe.
ghost attacked him. I don't know if he managed to hit, but he certainly attacked.
Yeah, Willow would probably explain it in the sense of like Duncan grabbed me in this plane and threw me down the stairs.
I
Off the stairs.
remember.
So he is here and
Oop.
there, and now nowhere. So
Right.
does that check out, Zeke? Logically?
Yeah.
Cool. Willow can hear Luca's unasked question. They're going to look away from the direction that these two can see them and quickly peer up at the roof with their glasses. Tip their glasses quickly
Down.
just to
Yeah,
look.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Make a perception check. Yeah, that's an egg sack on the roof. Looks like it's relatively fresh. Which is to say, probably real recent. Like, probably there just before you guys arrived. So, good news, probably not going to hatch anytime soon. Bad news, they are in the ethereal plane and you cannot access them.
Lowers their glasses and looks back to the wall. Yeah, we don't have to worry about checking the spider.
So they're
Right.
up there.
Yep.
Right.
Are they hatched?
No.
Because I don't want more spiders today.
No, they're still in their little...
Sacked?
Yes, sacked.
Okay.
We have a while yet. Maybe Elsa has also a solution for ethereal spiders.
She might.
Let's hope. We don't want
There'll
a dozen of those things wandering around.
be many more than a dozen, that's for sure.
Well, shame on me for being hopeful.
Okay, Willow's probably going to walk over to one of the doors now.
Yeah, you've had your rest now.
Excuse me, they say to the patrol
Willow?
guy. I'm just having a look. Willow's going to peer through.
Actually, I wanted to ask you a question.
Yes, I can do both.
How did you see the spider egg?
I was wrong. I can't do both. Willow's going to look through the mask.
Okay.
Yep.
Make another perception check.
Okay.
As you also let me move you guys onto the battle map so you can move your tokens around.
Yeah, fuck you, spider.
And I was gonna say, after Willow looked at the ceiling, it's like a specific, you know that like, they looked for a bit, but then they had that like sudden turn away, like when you've been hit by a light, like when you get high beamed by a car.
Yeah,
That's
the
the way
flinch.
they look her away. Yeah, and put their glasses back on. But nonetheless, their voice remains steady. So, yeah, Willow's going to have a look. Oh wait, no, I've already looked at this one, so I'm going to walk over to this one.
Okay.
Excuse me, good sir.
Yeah.
Glance at N. Give a face.
And
Perception?
Yes,
shrugs.
please. Similar to the other one that you looked through, it looks like there is a stone sarcophagus with a brazier on top of it. And sort of dim carvings that you can just make out with the edges of your dark vision. Looks similar to the ones on the walls here. And yeah, the sarcophagus itself, the stone coffin, is decorated with ship motifs. Old ships, like, think to our sensibilities it would be like long ships.
Can I make another perception check here?
Mm-hmm.
Would it be worthwhile if Willow, like, I don't want to continue to pester them with headaches. Could they also peer in with their regular eyes?
Without the sunnies?
Yeah.
So, yeah. So, if you look through, using your unfiltered eyes, it again appears much the same as before. There is not anything sort of extra in here, so you don't think the face spider got in there, because while it can move through spaces, it can't appear in spaces that are too small for it.
Yeah.
That would...
So it doesn't...
It can't clip through wall. It can't, like, appear in the material plane when it is clipping through walls. That feels... That's likely to lose it a leg.
Aww. It appears in, like, a too
fucking
small...
with Luca.
comically too small coffin or something.
No.
Yeah.
Just like Penumbra.
Yeah, like Penumbra.
Oh.
Okay, well, perception check. Oh, I forgot to do a perception check. Was that just an extension of the last one?
Yeah, I'm just extension of the last one.
Okay.
You will note as, like, part of your ethereal vision, you can just sort of see, like, wisps of the sort of ambient energy of this place. This place is definitely a shadow crossing of some sort. At the moment, it looks relatively still. It would need quite a while before anything reappears here.
Cool. It's just
Like,
double checking.
Days, maybe weeks.
Double checking if there's anything else here to be concerned about, but it seems like it's nothing. So I think Willow's going to... Can I try and open this door?
Sure. Let me check. Do you require anything for that? Make a athletics check.
Good luck.
It's quite heavy.
I'm gonna look at the undead and say, "Can I open this?"
There's a nod.
Okay.
Oh, sorry.
I'm gonna try and push on the door.
The one
It's a
who's
pull
standing
door.
by, or
Okay, can I pull the door? Well, there you
there's
go.
your first problem. At least he
I'm
figured it
gonna
out.
try. I'll push
Wait,
the
did
door.
Luca want to come to this one?
Why?
I just feel like, I don't know. I was
I'm
just
giving
curious. I
Willow
figured it'd be-
space, so
Oh, okay. If Willow hears
Make
that
an
Luca asked
athletics
permission-
check.
Yeah, Willow looks at the undead next to them and is, oh, sorry.
oh my gosh.
With you'd like dig your porcelain hand in, and then like with you like dislodge the door, and there's that sound of
Oh wow.
stone being moved. Once you've like sort of gotten it free of like the dust and sort of age of time, it like swings open quite easily on hinges.
Huh.
Ooh.
Wow.
Willow appears behind you.
I opened the door.
Good
You
job.
did. It was a pull door, but Luca pushed it open with his sheer strength.
No, he probably tried to push it and then realized it was a pull.
Whoops. Nicely done.
Hmm.
Oh.
Gonna look at the
Ah.
undead and ask if I can go in.
It like gives you sort of an impassive shrug almost.
Cool.
It does not seem to care.
Cool. Okay. I just walk
Oh.
in, buck
Yeah.
wild.
So, you enter into the chamber and you can see what Willow saw before. There is a relatively small room with a, again, quite shallow roof, about 8 feet overhead, like 8 feet from floor to ceiling. The walls are, once again, like smoothed earth with like stone panels with rough etchings and engravings in them of sort of ships and sea and abstract people and warriors and so on. The stone coffin in the center of the room is carved with motifs of ships. It's like a solid block that is resting on a plinth with like a sort of solid lid, and then like slightly above the coffin itself, hanging from this low ceiling, is this brazier containing fuel to be lit.
Do you think lighting
What
it would
do
be
you
a
do?
good thing or a bad thing?
What did I say?
Do you think lighting that would be a good thing or a bad thing?
I think good thing.
One
In
way to
this
find
case.
out, Willow. I
Oh,
assume you
shall I
have
do the honors?
fire on you at all times.
You are the pirate.
Ah.
I think it's what they would
These are your
want.
ancestors, right?
That's not how piracy works. Well, sometimes it is, I suppose.
It's family business.
Suppose it
You are
could be.
so new here. Okay.
I'm being facetious. I hope that's clear. In
Did
this
Luca say
instance,
facetious
at
out loud?
least, I'm being facetious. No, but he's like smiling in that way that
No, no.
he's joking.
Yeah, Willow's also just joking back with him.
Okay.
Well, can I observe this thing first before I attempt to light
Sure.
it?
Sure.
Investigate?
Yeah. It looks like you would need to slide the lid off the coffin to get at whatever's inside it if you wanted to do that. There are like some finger holds in it that are made for that. The brazier is a wrought iron. It's dry enough in this tomb that like no rust has really shown up. And
Can
yeah, there
we-
is fuel. That is.
Can we? Sorry.
Yeah. No, it's fine.
Can we do like a quick? Can we go open the other ones?
The doors? Yeah. I'll
Yeah.
let Luca's natural 20 athletics checks ride. You can open the rest of them.
Smash cut to look opening all of them with the same ease.
Yeah.
It's
That's
the
what I
same like
imagine. Yeah, and just a quick poke inside to each one, like to see if they are roughly the same.
Yep, they are roughly the same. The details are like slightly different, but each of the rooms is very similar.
Any details that you want to mention? Like, because I would just assume a general perception check in each one.
Yeah. They're all very much the same. The details that are different are just the carvings. Like they seem to be individual, like,
Noting.
Honoring
Yeah.
a different
Unique.
pirate.
Yeah.
yeah.
I feel like Willow's going to probably stop. Let's say at this third one here, Willow's
Oop.
going to stop by.
Luca went through the
Luca!
wall.
Oh
Sorry,
no!
my like little icons were fucking up, so I had to move around to get them to reset.
Okay.
Willow's going to squat by one of them and like gesture to the carvings and then like tell these guys that this is this particular whoever's buried here, this is theirs. This carving, this story.
Their story. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
It is. It's a way to go. And they seem
Are they
very
not
intent on us finding
In
whatever it is
the
they've got.
coffin?
Yeah. Well, I guess there's one way to find out, Willow says, probably propping their hands against the edge of the coffin.
Okay, I'll stick my fingers in the finger holes.
Oh.
Okay. You
Okay, are we doing this
make
together?
another athletics check. Luca, you can have advantage as Willow is helping you.
Hell yeah.
Not that you need it, but you know. Yeah.
Hey.
Very
21.
easily. I assume you're opening this one, right?
Yeah.
After a quick pop around. All
Yeah.
right. So you slide open the coffin and you see there is a sort of small amounts of humanoid remains. You would guess human, though you're not sure. They're somewhat disjointed through time. Possibly there were only partial remains to be recovered and buried here. But more interestingly, there are some grave goods in here.
Ooh.
There is a wand of sort of like pitch black, even with light sources in here to look at them. This pitch black polished wood that like twists. Interestingly, there is a small bronze ring with motifs of waves and a set of bronze and gold earrings in the shape of oak leaves.
Ooh.
Luca reacting like he's just gone to the shops has made Willow like laugh at him because it's like a very like Willow's treating this moment with a bit of admiration and reverence, and like Luca popping in like, oh, pretty. It's like it worked. It's fine, but so bronze and gold earrings shaped like oak leaves.
Yeah.
Hmm.
What's that wand about?
Don't know. Can I grab
Anybody
it?
got yeah, anybody wants to, or you could do detect magic or identify.
Oh, yeah, good idea. Sorry.
You have spells for that.
Yes. Willow like reaches out. Wait a minute.
I
I
have
have no
magic.
spell slots.
Hey, these
Oh,
are
wait.
ritual spells.
Oh, it is a
Okay.
ritual spell, but I need to have it activated. I need to have it
Oh.
active, and I
Yeah.
don't. Yeah,
Oh.
which I think I got wrong last session.
Yeah.
Can I then cast detect magic as a ritual?
I think Willow has detect magic as well. But
I do, but I
you
don't have
didn't identify. Yeah, identify would
Yeah.
give you more specific readings, but you can at
Yeah.
least tell if something is magical or not.
Me?
So what you
Who?
doing? Who's doing what?
Well, I don't have
Willow.
any activated because I have other things. Yeah, I
Did-
can't. I don't have my capacity for identify or for detect magic.
That's
Why?
weird because I'm pretty sure you cast detect magic earlier.
I did, and I think that was wrong.
Well,
Why can't you cast it?
didn't prepare it today. Didn't
Yeah,
Oh.
well,
pack that tool in the box.
quick question. I have Thunder Wave activated. I should
You
have
can
tested that.
deactivate that to
Okay.
replace it with one of your other spells if you like.
Well, because I already used detect magic, let's just pretend I already had that ready.
Yeah.
Because Willow would have
Okay.
brought that to the dungeon. I thought that I didn't have to have it active until I read my character sheet today, and I was like, I do. So I was like, fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, I'll have detect magic active, and I'll use that.
Yeah. Okay. So,
Jack.
cool. You detect magic. The wand is not a magic item, but it is a focus of some kind. And the bronze ring is a magic item.
Oh. What does it do?
You would guess it. It looks like it has a faint aura of transmutation. You'd think.
Ooh. Oh? Ooh.
Yeah, you would need to look at it more closely. So, either make an Arcana check, or
At once.
identify.
I don't have identify, so it's just Arcana check.
Yep.
Very
Go ahead.
excited Arcana check. Ooh.
Ooh.
And it shows.
Yeah. Okay, this is a ring of swimming. This gives you a swimming speed equal to your walking speed. So it
Ooh.
makes you move through the water very swiftly.
Wow.
The wand, also, I will let you use that Arcana check to ride through, is an imbued wooden wand of Mabaran ebony, which means that it is especially good at channeling necrotic magic.
Ooh.
Are you relaying this information to us?
I honestly think
Question.
Willow would have said it basically word for word the way that Zeke did.
Okay, yeah, you can say that.
Willow is excited.
Huh.
We should give the ring to Anne, since they like to take swimming dips.
And gives you a flat look. I don't intend to make that part of my daily routine.
You should. Swimming's very good for you.
There must be so many more items in the other ones as well. Should we check them?
Are we taking these? My hands are like hovering, like...
Well, we'll give it a second. I mean,
Okay.
might as well check everything else, I suppose.
Are we going to leave stuff for other people to scavenge?
Well, ideally this place is going to be sealed up, so...
For now.
But another pirate might come along and be like, aha! I'm mocking Willow with
Avast,
that
ye
noise.
hearties. Thank you.
Yeah?
Well, Willow's just
It's
keen
fair,
to see
right? And it's
what else
only
is
fair
there.
we leave some stuff for other people.
I don't know. I'm over here. We're already starting to push on this one.
Okay, Macon. Okay,
I'm making
You
I
it
don't want
think
work.
some help? I'm
over
gonna
the
stand
next
back
few.
and let Willow
Huh?
do it on their own, because they came
Okay.
in on their own. So...
Yeah,
What was Zeke saying, sorry?
make an athletics check if Luca's not helping on this one.
I
Willow,
imagine Willow ran here and has started pushing before you guys got here.
Hey, okay, with
So close!
with the right
adrenaline.
amount of leverage, you do manage to pry the coffin open. What is in this one? Let me look. Okay, so detect magic's still up. There is a brass circlet inlaid with pieces of jade. Looks very valuable, not magic. A bear fur lined robe, which is honestly kind of manky at this point. Looks like it's gotten wet one too many times in the history, so even this hermetically sealed tomb could not save it from the
Gotcha.
depredations of time.
Would- Could
And
Willow's...
a ceremonial drinking horn, which
Ooh.
contains some liquid that you see has a faint magical aura to it. Once
Would
again,
Willow's...
transmutation.
Sorry.
Yep, done now.
Would Willow's mending cantrip fix that robe, or is that like just it's too far gone?
It's too far gone. This mending does not fix rot.
Okay.
Mending can fix tears and breaks, but not
Actually,
that much.
later, remind me to ask Willow to fix my clothes.
Quick question.
Yeah,
These places would stink, yeah? Or has the smell gone? This one would stink
it's
probably
kind
because
of
of the bed.
there's
Yeah.
like a faint sort of musty smell. It's
Yeah.
like it's mostly dried out enough that it's like not too bad, but it is kind of that like
Dirt
Musty
funk.
is a good word.
Yeah.
stench.
Yeah. Basically, would Willow need to put on their mask?
No, it's not that bad. Certainly not the worst thing you've smelled today.
Yeah. What's Sorry, I'm still laughing because I imagine the whole time it took for you guys to get here, Willow was pushing this lid off like inch by inch.
Oh.
We could hear
Yeah.
the crunching of the stone
Yes.
as it slid.
They're very
Just like
excited.
tiny little yeah. Nonetheless, they got it open.
Wow, congratulations.
Thank you very much. Would you like a drink? And they're going to probably gesture to this drinking horn. Is there any way I could try and figure out what that is?
You would need to do a like finger taste test
Oh,
to figure out what that potion is if you don't have the identify spell. Otherwise, you can just stash it for later.
So it's a potion. We can assume
Yes.
that it's a potion and not some sort of like lets you breathe underwater for. Wait, no, that's a potion. Okay, never mind. Luca's thought process just happened in Sarah's head, so.
wait, hold on.
I, for one, vote against
Anybody?
drinking strange liquid from a tomb until we know what it is.
You're not very adventurous, are you?
I don't like to
Vampires.
eat things out of coffins.
Oh, that's where we differ, I'm afraid.
That goes for you too, Willow. Just take it home.
Willow gives Anna a look.
It's been in there for years. I risk it.
Sure.
Let's
Turn
see
into
what's
a
in the other
frog.
coffins first.
Okay.
Oh! We'll give you to Aggie.
Right.
That would go very badly if you recall how they left, what the terms they left on.
Can you imagine Lucas backing out of the door going, like,
Yeah!
and then going to the other room to
Okay.
take the coffin lid off? Oh my god.
Yeah. If Luca, you're doing it alone, give me another athletics check. Ooh,
Oh,
yeah,
only a 15.
easy enough. Like again, it's not too difficult for you to pry it open. This one you have in amongst the remains a breastplate which is supernaturally clean with silver wave accents. It is Willow, as you come in, it is a magic item, a common magic item. It's like a pretty low grade enchantment. You can tell from like the intensity of the aura. There is a carved ivory pipe in the shape of a dolphin spouting water, and a necklace of banded agate. But the
Would you mind, sorry, your voice went
Yeah?
a bit wobbly. Would you mind repeating all of that from carved
Okay.
ivory pipe?
There is a carved ivory smoking pipe in the shape of a dolphin spouting water, and
Aw.
a necklace of banded agate. But yeah, there is a breastplate of gleaming in this chest.
Is it big enough for me?
Yeah.
Ooh.
I think we found Luca's treat for this venture.
I'm having the earrings.
You can have both.
Oh, are you?
Can I?
Oh, can he?
I'm just saying, I imagine we're not going to just take one thing and leave.
Guess not.
Come on, let's go to the other one. I'm excited.
Yeah.
Okay.
What's the Eberron version of Christmas? Because this is Luca being a kid on Christmas right now.
And a happy new year. Okay. One
Should we do it
last-
together? Should we do it together? The three of us?
And come on,
Yeah.
this last one?
Okay, fine. Then
Yeah.
nothing's killed us yet. I'll help.
Okay.
I think Willow is going to stand over here and just kind of conduct like 3, 2, 1.
Athletics
and...
check.
Who?
Luca.
Advantage?
Yep. End's helping you.
Yeah. Those
Sometimes
little
I have
tiny
strength.
hands. There we go. Not too bad.
Yeah. Oh, yep, you opened it up. And inside is a leather branded shield with a stylized wave on it, burned into the leather, a golden torque with ram's heads on the ends,
Oh.
and a short sword that sort of gleams a strange, like, purple gray in the
Ooh.
light. Make
can I observe that?
a history check, any of you?
I will.
I would assume Willow, the pirate, knows about pirate stuff.
This short sword is interesting. That's older than everything else, judging by the design. Can't exactly place it, but it looks like mainland, maybe? You're not sure.
Can I pick it up?
Yeah.
Oh,
Willow's
It
gonna
wait,
is
pick it up.
wait.
it is not magical, so
Willow's gonna pick it up and give it a little spin.
Okay.
Relax, Willow says with a weird level of like dexterity with the sword.
yeah.
Huh.
It is a very nicely balanced sword.
Hmm.
It is incongruous with the rest of the stuff that's been in this tomb so far, so you think it's probably been stolen once before.
And returned, or like this person stole it?
This person stole it.
Well, of
That's-
course they did. They were a pirate.
Pirates don't steal everything. Sometimes they make things.
From
The
stolen
kind of
parts.
stealing, not necessarily. Gosh. Mostly, but not necessarily. Willow's going to squat down next to the carvings of this coffin and just observe again. Did this, like, what this person's tale might have been? Very curious.
Yeah, it's about what you would expect. Lots of running and pillaging, fighting monsters, fighting other things. Raiding a tomb, interestingly.
Huh. The legacy lives on.
So it would seem.
What?
Oh. Never mind. What's
No,
a
no.
talk?
Pork is a
You should really know this, Luke Willow.
necklace. It
Oh,
is a
okay.
torc. It is a style of ancient neck jewelry. It is like a solid ring with an opening that goes around the neck.
Oh.
I thought it was a talk driver, so I thought Willow should know what it was.
I don't know
No.
what you're saying.
It's
Never
usually.
Sorry.
mind.
It's usually
We do
Luca.
not
You
have...
should know what it is. Fashionable
Sorry,
boy.
we do not have cars in this universe.
Listen. I thought it was a fancy, like, wrench.
Nope.
Oh.
But now that we've solved that pesky little mystery,
torc.
Alright, cool. You're very enamored with the sword.
is it special in some way?
Looks like it's made out of an
Different.
interesting metal. And it is stylish. Like, stylistically different from everything else in here.
One of these things is not like the other.
Well, what is it like?
Something else.
Really? Is that what that means?
Indeed. Can I observe? Wait, did I already make an investigation or history or whatever on this?
Yeah, you already did on this, and you're
Oh.
not sure.
Can I... I'm gonna offer my hand to Willow because I just want to, like, swing it around.
Don't break it. Willow hands it to you.
It's a nice short sword. Well balanced.
It's a very impressive, very big knife.
Not everything is a knife, Anne.
No, not with that attitude.
That's true.
Anne's actually gonna go back to this one and have a look at that wand again.
Yeah.
What are you thinking, Professor Jenkins?
Willow's probably standing with their book in their hand now, and looking. They're probably noting what's in each of these rooms and like having drawn it down.
Yeah.
And they're
If
just
you want, I
thinking.
can just like quickly paste into our group chat what is in each of the things.
I wrote it down, so I'm good.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll
um,
paste it anyway.
yeah, you can do that anyway. But Willow's not only that, but they would also be noting down like the actual. That's a weird sounding frog in the distance. They would note down the sort of notable parts of each of the tomb's stories
Mm-hmm.
because they're just curious about these people. Is there
Mm-hmm.
anything else notable about each of the like carvings or the adventures that each of these people went through? Any like
It
identifiers, name?
it looks like there's no names because there's no writing. It's
Mm,
all pictographic. Then
mhm.
again, pirates not exactly known for their robust education system.
Yeah, that's fair.
Has Willow drawn a map in their book?
It would be a very like it would be like a diagram of the room.
Yeah, I'm gonna like lean over their shoulder a little bit and say, "Do you notice that it kind of makes an X?"
Very clever.
It looks like the most notable things is that the monsters in the central chamber seem to depict the demise of these pirates in one way or another.
Well, that's fun.
Not maybe these are metaphorical demises. You're not sure if they're literal because in that case, how would have they have recovered the bodies?
Yeah,
Um, but you know,
their
there's always
demises.
there's
When they
always
gave
room
up the
for
life.
embellishments.
Especially in
All
pirate
right, so
tales.
it's like, yeah, this is how they deceased in their heroic legends that they are leaving behind. That's basically what Willow's writing down is like the summation of the
Yeah,
legend that is associated with each of these treasures because it
yeah.
helps build the character of the person because that kind of feels like the point of this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, to Willow anyway. It's
Yeah.
yeah, there is an excitement with the idea of getting stuff, but the idea of being here and knowing these people is kind of what
Hmm.
Willow's angle is.
Mm-hmm.
So they're standing in the middle of here, kind of basking, I guess you would say, as they observe and like write down about these people that they don't know, but are learning about today, centuries after they have died.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm gonna spoil that because I got Willow alone. Willow,
Yes, Willow says, still writing.
I just want to let you know that I tried when we were fighting the spider. I noticed you took off your glasses, and since you didn't do that in the bar, I tried not to look. I'm just letting you know.
Oh, very noble of you. Thank you. That's nice.
N is going to pick up the wand and see how it feels in their hands.
From a distance, I think Willow is probably going to hear the sound of like that little like just whatever shift that is, and then
Yeah.
perfect timing. Thank you, N, because Willow's like, oh, we should probably
Yeah.
check on N.
Yeah, you pick up the wand. It feels quite nice in your hand. You feel like you haven't used really a arcane focus before. Then again, you haven't had magic that long in your life. You've mostly been used to using knives. You twirl the wand in your hand, doing like a knife trick with it. It feels quite
Oh,
nicely balanced.
So that's a knife too, right?
I mean, if I thrust it hard enough into someone's neck, yes, it is.
I like spread my arms, like go for it.
I don't want to
okay, Willow's
break
gonna
it,
push.
Luca, and I think it would snap if I tried to. It makes a stabbing motion towards your chest.
Okay, Willow's going to push Luca aside, like sort of like back of the hand against Luca's chest, and kind of push him out the way so that they can look at the wand. You going to take that?
Unless you have any objections.
No, I'm just. Question to Zeke. That was a
Mm-hmm.
Mabaran channeling thing.
Yes.
Do I know what that means?
It just means that it's especially effective at channeling certain types of magic.
Right.
In
Shadow magic?
mechanical terms, it when you deal necrotic damage with it, it adds +1 to the damage.
And I have
Does
spells.
Anne have a lot of necrotic spells?
I have at least one.
And quick question as well. Is the fact that this is a Mabaran thing at all tied to the shadow passage energy of this place, or is that just solely because it's dark and deathy?
It's more because it's dark and deathy than it's because this wand is here.
Okay, so this is all just stuff that is
Yeah, this
sort of-
is like, if you can imagine the like Mabaran Ebony wand is more about like it comes from a tree that was grown in a Mabaran manifest zone, not here.
That's cool.
Would have been elsewhere.
Willow's doing like En's holding it, and Willow's doing like big, like full body head tilts, like to observe it while it's in En's hand. That's very rare.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Not
It's
very
really
rare.
spit.
I don't know if in the D&D. I knew that Zeke was gonna pop in and be like, because I forgot that rare was a D&D word.
It's definitely not common, in the sense of like you'd have to go out of your way to find these things.
Yeah. What I meant was you can't get it from Malachi.
Yeah.
It's not a wand of
accurate.
smiles, that's for sure.
Mhm.
Oh, it is. You look like you're smiling.
Well, it might bring a smile to my face, that's true.
Would anyone object to me taking the earrings for Seeker Elsa?
I think CK also might object. Oh, where did you find those? In a tomb, Secret Elsa. Sold them off some pirates from the place you tried to lock up one time.
If she doesn't know where they came from,
You're gonna lie
What,
to your
she's-
mother, Luca?
she's my grandmother, and no,
Oh, I'm
I'm
sorry.
just going to withhold the truth until she's accepted them.
I
and
thought that
then
was
tell her.
lying, Luca. I thought you told me that was lying.
I'm going to tell her afterwards, so it doesn't count.
Okay, I'm starting to learn the ins and outs of how I can lie. Thank you, Luca, for setting such an example for me.
This place is
Hmm.
having an effect on you. You're getting influenced by these pirates.
Well, once you've been in the principalities long enough, you turn to piracy, right?
Who was gonna leave? Enjoy your one, Dan.
What's the most monetarily valuable looking thing? Was it the
Definitely
circlet?
that. Yeah, definitely the golden torque.
The talk? Okay, I'm gonna take that then.
It is heavy.
Huh.
Luca's
Willow!
the beefy boy.
Oh, his voice sort of just echoed through the whole place. Willow's taking
Yeah.
the pipe.
Mm-hmm.
Are you gonna give
The
that to
dolphin
Varys?
pipe.
Yeah.
Willow! Willow!
Hey, you Luca, stop yelling.
Can I borrow
Yes?
you for a second?
1 second. Willow's putting the pipe in their pocket. They might also be holding up the necklace. A
Mhm.
gate. Necklace of banded gate. Breastplate of gleaming.
And might take the ring too, since they're here. They're thinking about how they fell in the water, and they might just like,
Hey,
since they're
Go for
standing
it.
here, and they'll just fuck that off
Hmm.
and leave.
When you say banded gate, what does that mean? Like banded?
It's a type. It's a
Oh,
type of
that
stone.
specific. Yes. Okay. Sorry, I thought the banded applied to the necklace, but I just remembered. Okay. It's very
got
pretty.
Stripes in it.
Yeah.
And just to check again, none of these things feel like
Haunted.
no. It's the principle of the matter is that by nature of being here, they are expected to be stolen from. Yeah.
In a way, it's certainly. You doubt that these pirates who definitely stole this treasure from other people would be able to protest from the grave of somebody else coming along.
Oh,
and
were they
stealing
gonna
it
come
from
and like
when-
question our morals now for stealing.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
what I mean is it kind of feels like a sort of a very pirate core sign of
Yeah.
like pirate camaraderie that like you stole this, I steal it back.
Yeah.
Kind of like it belongs to no one like at this
Yeah.
moment.
If you can
Yeah.
claim it,
pirate
it's yours.
yeah,
The
pirate logic.
rule of Lazar is finders keepers.
Yeah.
I feel like this place was set up with the express intention of people finding it and taking stuff, right?
Yeah.
If they do take stuff, it's they're not no skin off their skeleton nose, basically, because they took it. Yeah. So it just
Speaking
seems
of-
like one of those funny little handshakes between pirates of like wink. Like I
Yeah.
died, this is mine, wink.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wink, but
So,
they're
I mean,
wearing
if
an
they
eye
wanted
patch.
it, if they didn't want people to steal it, they should have guarded their tomb a little better, and you know that's possible.
Yeah.
There's not
it's-
even like a
there's
pit trap in here.
Yeah, we could have
Yeah,
opened the
that's
tombs and
the-
like set something off. So open the coffins.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
exactly,
The dead
there's-
giveaway.
Willow.
The dead giveaway.
And
Dead.
is going
Haha,
to
giveaway.
take the
Haha.
brass circlet, by the way, and is over here taking.
Don't
Okay.
you have enough money?
You can't see what it's doing.
Will you put this in your pocket for me?
How big is it?
The necklace, Mim.
Yeah,
Yes.
How big is
It's
how big is the
heavy.
neck?
Well, you can have very elaborate necklaces that are as wide as shoulders. I don't know.
It folds well enough.
Okay. Well, condescending
that you-
bastard. Anyway. Um.
All right, not Luca.
No, I know, of course. Luca's nice.
Just making sure.
No, I know. He
Don't
would never.
besmirch his character.
No, that's you. That's your job. um, yeah, okay. Will saying you're going to take that? Is that also for Seeker, Elsa?
No, that is for selling, so I can
Oh.
save money.
Just as an aside, well, N is alone in there. They're gonna try on the circlet.
Oh.
But
You
the-
wear a little uncomfortable crown. It looks like it was made for a head that's much bigger than, slightly bigger than yours, so it like
That makes
kind of
sense.
falls over your eyebrows a bit.
I still smirk a bit and pluck it back off. Tuck it away and
And
come
you're
back
not
out.
drinking. You're not drinking the juice, are you?
I'm not. Stop using that word.
It's the first time I used the word.
No, I just
Juice.
collectively, I don't want to hear anything about juice. And no, I am not.
Yeah.
I'm the one who told us not to do it. I'm not about to do it. Do I look like the kind of person? You're the kind of person who would do that, Willow.
Mhm. Yeah. Well.
And I'd probably do it if you asked me to.
Oh my God.
I shrug as I like look at the breastplate.
Both of you need help.
Lucky we have you to temper our curiosity.
It's my honor. And my privilege.
You can. And your burden, Luca. You can take that breastplate if you want.
You think?
You do have.
a breast.
I do have breasts, yes.
Willow's eyes just dropped. Could use a plate.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna say, excuse me, as I like pluck it out.
Willow's going to take the necklace as well.
Mm-hmm.
I think the only thing that will be left, they're going to also go over and take that drinking horn.
Mm-hmm.
And
Please
Curious
note
about
anything
that.
that you are
I am.
taking into your inventory.
Yes, sir.
and that
well,
that shield.
I put something in Willow's inventory. Does that count?
Thanks.
Does-
I'll log
does-
it.
As long as you make note of it, because I can't
Yeah,
do
yeah,
your
yeah, yeah.
own packing for you.
And
Will this
I'm going
fit
to
in your
probably
pocket? And I kind of turn it slightly.
the breastplate.
Yeah.
No.
No.
Oh.
Your chain shirt would, but that requires you taking that off and then replacing it. That'll take a bit of time.
He can
Huh.
if he wants. It's a turbo strip down in this tomb. I mean, I'll leave, but like,
You don't have to leave.
okay. Is he actually undressing?
No.
Okay.
I'm just gonna like strap it over my shoulder for now.
Okay. Willow's going to go over here and probably end on the shield with the wave details.
Mm-hmm.
Leather branded. That mean it's a branded leather? Like, is that?
Yes.
I'm assuming that's yeah.
Is that better
It's
than
a
what
leather
you
shield.
have, Luca?
Sorry?
The
The
shield.
breastplate, yes.
No, the shield. Is
Or
it
the
better
shield.
than what you have,
No,
Luca?
it's about the same.
Willow's probably going to just Willow's going to take that
Okay.
and observe it, and then probably fling it over their back. They are planning to take that one.
Okay.
Leather suits Willow a bit more, I think.
But can Willow use a
Hmm.
shield?
Yeah.
Cool. I didn't know if those Betty Spaghetti limbs could handle such a thing.
But that's why it's
It's a
leather.
leather shield.
That's why you apply all the leather to your body.
Fair.
Direct
I'm gonna
approach.
smack Willow like on the back through the
Ow.
shield to see how
God,
it.
are you gonna make a strength check with that one?
Do you want
I'm
me
gonna
to?
break my spine.
You
Can
don't
you?
need to.
Okay.
Luca
I think it's
taps
safe
the
to say-
shield. It's stab proof at least.
Hmm.
And I need a knife.
And squints.
Willow's going to remove a page from their journal while they're here. Oh, actually, they're going to bring out their journal and write
Mhm.
something in it.
Cool.
Then rip out a page and fold it and place it in the tomb.
Does it say Willow Jenkins took your stuff?
It describes the sword.
Oh.
It might be
Why
fun
is-
if we put one in every one of them.
Why is the sword special?
Well, it's new here. I feel like someone might look for it. But then again, you could put something in here for all of them. If you plan to sell the talk, then you could say, find this necklace on the exchange of Regalport or something of the sort, if you wanted. Send whoever's here in thousands of years, maybe, on another Merry Goose Chase, if this place is here by then. And if the paper doesn't disintegrate, it won't. I made it. So yeah,
Is your paper special?
everything I make is special. Willow says, walking past you. Did you want to put that back on, the lid?
Okay.
And looks at Willow and like offers their hand like for a paper after some thought.
Oh. Okay. Willow gives you a piece of paper as well.
And we'll take that and write a note and put it over here where they took the circlet and return.
Nice.
What'd you take from there, and
The circlet. Not a drink, if that's what you're thinking.
juicy?
Oh, God.
Do you think Captain Varys would be... Sorry, Mr. Varys would be annoyed if I implicate him in one of these? Willow says this mostly to themselves, actually. They started talking to you guys, but it faded off towards themselves at the end. I
Well,
think we
you
find he'd
did-
be part of a legacy here. He is part of Green Time. Pardon?
Singing bird.
Oh. Ugh.
Don't bring that up right now, Luca.
Well, I'm just,
I'm gonna
a point of
I'm
reference.
gonna close this lid. I'm gonna close the lid.
Yeah.
Who's got to distract
Do you-
themselves, use their noodly arms to get this lid back on so they don't have to listen to Luca.
Luca making excellent points, I might add.
No, it's a nice thing. It's nice. Trust me, it's nice.
You can say that this pipe now belongs to Captain Varys, right? I look at Willow with a knowing smile.
Willow just
That's more of a grin, actually. So,
thanks. Anyway, Willow's going to try and close these lids now.
do you want some help?
No.
And
Between the
won't help.
between the three of you, you can take the time to close the lids up again. Do you do anything with the braziers?
Oh, yes, I'm absolutely
Yeah.
going to point them out.
We should have lit them.
Well,
I mean,
time
you've
like
been
lit
this.
them
going
at the
in and
start of
out
this.
of them, so
Shall
No
we
time.
assume that we did light them?
Yeah, as you've been going through each of them, I assume you've like been lighting them one by one, especially for Luca's sake,
Yeah,
since that
poor Luca.
makes it easier
Yeah.
for him
Yeah.
to see.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's assume we did that at the beginning. Does that change
Okay.
anything?
As far as you can tell, not yet. Do you close the doors behind you? I assume not.
Huh.
Mm,
Do we want Elsa to
Luca
know we've
might,
been
just because
here?
it's polite.
We're gonna bring Elsa
Okay.
back here. How much do we want her to know we touched?
well, I think the
When-
most important thing is. Oh wait, the eyes.
Yeah.
When Luca closes the door behind him, there, on one of the lit braziers, there is light shining through the eyes of the carved
Oh.
mask, and they reflect up into the moonlit starry sky.
Oh,
Oh.
look at that.
Huh. That's kind of pretty. Close all of them.
Yes, sir.
And we'll actually help at that point.
Yeah.
With their
Yeah.
-1 strength, but you know.
There's 3 doors
The-
left. We can all do one.
Oh god.
As you, it only was like very difficult to open them the first time because of the age. They were a bit stuck.
Yeah, have a chance then. So you're saying there's a chance.
Yes. So, you each close one of the doors, and you see there is light shining through each of the eyes, pointing up at the moonlit sky, focusing on one of the moons in particular. Anybody want to give me a history check to figure out which
Yes.
one that is?
Can I
Willow.
help? Willow? So Willow has advantage on that?
Mm-hmm.
I think we all know what the moons are, though.
I'm helping.
I just imagine both of them just like looking up at the sky, looking back at Willow.
Yeah.
That's your advantage being given to me, thank you. Because Willow does not look back at you guys, just up.
Yep,
Nice.
it is the moon of Barracas.
Huh.
Which I believe is, if I can find it again, the lantern.
Mm-hmm.
You watch as it refracts the light and points a beam, a spotlight, to a specific point on the floor. The beam shines on the mouth of the dragon turtle mosaic. And as you look down, now that it's been pointed out, you can see 5 small indentations in its mouth. Right-handed finger holes for grabbing.
Oh.
Ooh, Willow's going to kneel by that so fast.
And we'll join them.
Oh, yeah. I'm behind them.
Do you put your fingers in the holes?
May I? Willow's not going
If
to
you'd
ask for
like.
permission, but Mim asks, may I?
Yeah.
We've come this far.
Yes. Willow's going to look back at both of you and be like, shall
Put
we?
your hand in those fingers holes.
The fingers are already in the holes, baby, but Willow's just checking.
Okay,
Yep,
make
we've
a
come this
wisdom
far.
saving throw
Oh.
as you put your hand into the dragon turtle's mouth.
I knew I should have done it.
shit. Wisdom. Yeah, because your wisdom is so good.
I have +2 and then ceremony. So you tell me.
Okay, guess it is then.
Okay.
Fuck me. All right.
Well, try
fuck
it
me, I
anyway.
guess.
Do it anyway. Wisdom saving throw.
Ooh.
Okay, so Willow, you start to put your fingers into the holes, and then you immediately snatch your hand back as you, like, feel a horrible sense of dread overwhelm you that, like, if you touch this, you will lose your hand.
Whoa.
You right?
Okay. It's a snapping turtle. Can I try again?
No, somebody else has to try. You, like, you physically cannot, because you failed that wisdom save, you physically cannot bring yourself to try that again.
Yeah.
You
Okay,
are like,
okay.
I lose fingers.
Yeah. Okay. Willow's that's entire livelihood. Yeah. There is a, well, concentrated sense of dread in that turtle's mouth.
What, like it's
I
gonna
want-
bite you?
Yeah.
Hmm.
But- Hmm.
Can I try putting it my other hand in, like finagle it so I can use my porcelain
Nope.
hand?
Nope.
Rude!
Unless you can put your thumb on backwards, I don't know how you're gonna do that.
Willow's
Ugh.
looking at Luca's porcelain hand like, can I?
Luke is looking at it like, huh.
No, it's positioned in such a way that you wouldn't be able to do that.
Alright, I'll give it a try.
Which
Okay. Wisdom saving throw, please.
Oh, come on.
that's not bad.
That's 11.
It's the same as you. Oh,
No,
I can't count.
quick maths. Scrap.
Luca, you try again, and then again you feel that like feeling of dread overwhelm you. It's like
Ugh.
you are going to lose a hand if you touch that.
Okay, I've been through this once.
It's like it's like the turtle is like going to devour your hand is the feeling that you get from that.
Ooh. Nope. I've gone through this. I am not in the mood to recover from another lost limb.
Mm.
Willow's like squatting next to it, observing it. Can I make any kind
Yeah.
of detect magic?
Yeah, you can cast detect magic again while you're casting that. And do you want to have a try?
Oh, skeleton! Troy!
I don't think you can tell it what
The
to
skeleton looks at you and then just shakes its head.
Oh,
do. Ugh.
thanks anyway.
Do
What
I
kind of
want to have a
magic is
try?
this?
If you lose your hand, I can coach you through the recovery. And I
Thanks,
give them a
Luca.
thumbs up
It's very encouraging.
with my porcelain hand.
Ugh.
Do I have anything to say about the magic that could like encourage N? Because I imagine N's not like gung ho about this.
Yeah, seeing both of you overcome with dread is not inspiring confidence. But it's not entirely turned away at this point. They're just weighing up their decision at this point.
I guess I should have made an Arcana check instead.
Can I make an
Oh,
Arcana check?
The detect it takes a little
Yeah.
takes 10 minutes to cast the detect magic, so I'm just
Yeah.
waiting to see if N will make that decision within the 10 minutes of Willow trying to cast that magic.
Is there any sort of check I can do? Or it's like, I'm just like, if I'm gonna one, I'm gonna lose my fingers, and I've been known to get plenty of ones.
Baby.
As far as you can tell, it's just like they've just like put their fingers in and then like recoiled.
Yeah.
More of
But
it be
no damage. Yeah.
Mm.
an
you-
inside feeling than a hand feeling.
Yeah.
Or can I instead of detect magic use Arcana check or give an advantage on Arcana check?
Oh dang, I've got
No.
no spell slots. I can't cast heroism.
Thank you for the thought.
Because I feel like N could use some reassurance of observing, and Willow would want to try and give that reassurance. If detect magic
I
takes
w-
that long, can I just?
I will say this, and there is an urge an urge of curiosity to it.
There
Like,
is.
so far they've just like pulled away and not been hurt
Traumatized.
per se.
Yeah.
It's
So-
the reactions from Luca and Willow are more like they got spooked
Mhm.
than being physically hurt. So.
Well, I definitely have a high spook, so I'm sure I'll pull away fast enough to hopefully not lose any of my very important fingers.
This is a group bonding activity.
Like a trust fall,
If it's any
except
consolation.
fingers.
Yeah. If it's any consolation, it doesn't feel like an active threat like knives. It feels like a psychic threat, like dread,
Oh yeah, psychic
which isn't
threats.
necessarily tangible.
I love those.
Sorry,
Okay,
I didn't mean it in that way.
It's fine. It's fine. Anne's gonna kneel down and like flex their hands and then give it a go like really fast, try to outmaneuver
Make a-
whatever's in there.
Get it
Make a
over and done
wisdom
with.
saving throw.
Oh my god, what is with
Yeah.
us?
Just barely, and you like put your hand in and you feel the fear, but like you turn it quickly and there is a clicking sound.
Ooh.
Like I said,
Ooh,
really
I see it.
fast. Like Anne's hand goes in there and then comes back out.
Yeah. The
You did it.
like you twist there's a clicking sound as you press the buttons that are in the finger holes, and there is a sort of shallow grinding noise as the shell of the dragon turtle retracts, revealing a hidden compartment. Inside is a carved ivory scroll case.
Oh.
Huh.
And on that visual, we open on the shell of the dragon turtle retracting, revealing this hidden compartment, carved ivory scroll within. Who picks it up?
Mm. And looks at Willow and Luca, because they're kind of in the middle now, because they were the one who went for the finger holes.
Well,
I'll reach over them with my porcelain arm,
Whoop.
just so.
And just squishes
If-
them like a cat you've reached over.
So if it's like booby trapped or anything, we can fix that.
That's fair.
You pick up the scroll case. It is a long tube with caps on the ends.
Oh.
Sounds like there's something inside it.
I shake it a little bit.
It's a little
don't
bit
shake it. Don't.
muffled, soft, but there's something in there.
I'm gonna give it to Willow.
No. Okay, can I ask? Willow is going to gesture, put on there, so they clicked on their gloves.
Yeah.
They might ask if they might let Luca hold it in his porcelain hand, and they are going to
Okay.
untwist one side of it,
Okay.
Yeah.
and then hold out their hand for him to tip it onto.
Okay. I do.
You tip out what looks like a rolled piece of tanned leather.
Do I recognize this as a map?
Yeah.
It's a map.
Is that a
Willow's like,
treasure
"Just hold
map?
on."
Is this a map to pirate
Ooh.
treasure?
And laughs.
Willow is going
Oh.
to. Can I open that?
Yeah.
Oh.
Unfurl the map.
All right.
Ends huddling in.
Inscribed in antiquated common in the corner are the words: Dukes of the Four Winds couldst not find Queen Lazar's legacy. To thee, the brave and canny, this map we leave behind. And the rolled map is of the island of Trebaz Sinara, a island among the archipelago of Lazar that is known for its treacherous reefs and inhospitable land. But this has a marked route through the reefs and into the interior of the island. And it clearly refers to the legendary pirate queen Lazar, for whom the region is named, and her hidden treasure, rumored to be on the island of Trebaz Sinara. If the map is legitimate, which it very well may be, this is worth a lot of money. Like, even High Prince Ryger would be interested in this kind of information.
Do you mean the map itself is worth money, or should
The
we be
map
going
is-
and stealing this loot?
Hey, either way, this is a big deal.
Like Willow's entire body has the fur has bristled, and all the way up to their ears, they are grinning.
Good find,
What's-
Willow.
Is there a tail wag?
There is absolutely a tail wag.
Oh!
One of a kind find. Amazing find.
Really?
Really? The kind
That's
of
her,
find to make us rich?
All pirate finds are. It's the person that the principalities are named after. It's the queen. And her
Pirate
treasure.
Queen.
Yes, the pirate queen.
Huh.
Is it real?
I mean, it looks real. It's in a very suspicious place. 4 dukes.
They did go
One,
through
two,
an
three,
effort of
4.
hiding it.
You almost got your hand. We all almost got our fingers cut off, but apparently didn't. Thank you, Anne. Thank you, all of us, for trying. But there it is.
Huh. Well, we do need money.
We do. I do.
Willow's somewhere else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're just looking at this map like, I am holding this in my hands.
Oh, that is if Willow can ever pry it out of Willow's hands. Might be
Well,
stuck
we
there
don't
now.
need to. We don't need to pry it out of Willow's hands. They can guide us, right?
You want to actually go there?
Do you not?
Well, the last time I was on a boat. I kind of fell in the water, and that seems to be a very dangerous place to fall in the water. So, it wasn't my.
But you have that ring now.
Uh,
I give them like a knowing smile.
yes, I took the ring,
See?
Luca.
Wow, you're already a pirate. Willow's like tracing the ink on the
Yeah.
ink. No, it would be branding.
It's like branded in. It's like tattooed basically into the leather.
Yeah,
Wow.
Willow's
So it is
following that with
very
her hands.
waterproof.
Ooh,
I'm like leaning over and looking at it as well.
It's
Beautifully
good
made.
quality leather.
Wow.
Like whoever made this map was an expert the leather worker and an expert cartographer.
Wow.
It is very impressive.
beyond
Willow,
impressive. It's amazing.
Do you
Yeah,
think it's
yes.
legitimate?
I think it's as close to legitimate as anyone has ever seen.
Do you want to go find it?
That might be hyperbolic.
Yeah.
I want to.
Should we go?
Well,
Get a boat?
overexcited. Also, I
You
already
or
have a boat.
us?
I honestly can't tell anymore. This is incredible. Ah. We should go
Should we?
Before
out
it
of
gets
here.
too
Is
late,
what I mean.
we should eventually bring Elsa here. We're
Yes.
quite done.
And then look at this, and all of the other things, but mainly this.
I'm glad you found something worthwhile.
We found something worthwhile. If we were ever to document this, it would be a group effort. I almost got my fingers torn off by my brain, so.
Oh. I have a feeling that might not be the first time for you.
Thank you for your high opinion of me. Willow is scrolling up the map again, and will. I'm assuming Luca will have given them the case.
Like hold it for them to put it back in and then offer them the case. Because they seem
Okay.
very enamored by it.
They are so close to just hugging and kissing it. So, yeah, they are holding it like they don't want to. They just want to hold on to it, but like, oh, this is cool. Okay. Whew. Is the thing on the floor gonna close up?
Nope, seems to be open.
Maybe
Shall
until we
we,
extinguish the lights.
yeah, move open in time?
Yeah.
I think
Okay.
so. Because I would say too that they would leave the lights on so that any shadow passage there is kind of nerfed a little bit until we get back.
Yeah.
Well, it
The
certainly
fuel
helps.
will eventually burn out, but
Yes.
what can you do? So, with your treasures in tow, you head back through the Tarn Woods to salvage.
Yeah.
I'll just ask for one quick survival check, and unless you fuck up terribly. So,
Go for it, Willow.
you're
Okay.
fine.
Whew.
Yeah,
Okay.
so you navigate through, you stick to the path, avoiding any other dangers.
No more
and
giant
find-
spiders.
Nope,
Thank-
no more
Thank
giant
the
spiders.
sovereigns for that one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, you make your way back home to the Nodding Poppy. It is, I would say, an hour or so before sunset. It's that golden light of afternoon. Clouds on the horizon, but no rain yet. You feel very accomplished.
Yeah, what a good
Feels
day.
good.
Yeah. So, you arrive back at the Nodding Poppy. You all heading inside?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you joining us for dinner, Willow?
May I make a quick history check to see what I might passively remember about Lazar, the person?
Sure.
Because I feel like Willow is probably talking your ear off about that kind of stuff on the way home.
Aw.
Sure thing.
Cute.
Oh, wow,
my
you're on a
my
high.
God.
Willow. Amazing.
Oh, boy.
What have I
Willow
told? What have I
gives
told
you-
these people?
Give us the
Willow
history.
basically gives you guys an entire rundown of everything that is known about Lazar, both the legitimate history that's got documented records and all the legends around it. For one thing, the entire system of the principalities is based off of what Lazar started. So for example, the title of prince, it comes from the old Sarlonan Redran word praelis, which is the title that she bestowed onto her highest captains. She wasn't the first to settle the Lazar principalities, but she definitely had this massive impact on it. This is before even the time of Galifar. So quite a rich history. There's all the different various bits of culture and lore that are sort of tied to her and her legacy. There's also the fact that the title of prince is never hereditary in Lazar. There's a lot there, and Willow goes over it in great detail. So there's all the academic research. There's all the folklore and history. There's especially how she came to Lazar, how fearsome she was when battling against the late Dakani Empire. Yeah. It's a big deal.
Yeah, she sounds
And
pretty
Willow
incredible.
talks about it like it's a big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Literally, probably up until the door of the Nodding Poppy, they are still
Yeah.
thinking of and another thing.
Yeah.
According to legend in the local town, but they're just
Yeah.
going on and on. To
Yeah,
the point
yeah.
that,
So with that natural 20, Willow, you know as much as there is to be known about Lazar. This is a subject you have delved deep into in your own time. You are very
Yeah.
familiar with the legends and lore.
So our
Um,
entire 4-hour journey back is basically Willow
2
explaining
hours.
the entire history.
It's
Yeah.
a lecture, but like in college, I mean. Not
Yeah.
Yeah.
not
Like
bad.
a walking lecture.
Yeah.
No, yeah.
Like an
Welcome to my
educational
TED
lecture.
Talk.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. This is our TED Walk, rather.
Yeah.
yeah.
That's what it is.
You have this is the most you've ever heard Willow talk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even when you first came out of the lighthouse and Willow did you a little tour of the docks and stuff and all that, this is base boosted.
Yeah.
Cute.
Yes, Willow likes boats, but oh man, does Willow like pirate treasure stories.
Yeah. And it's probably visually a little enamored. Like they've smirked a couple times just watching Willow's
Yeah.
excitement.
Can you
Luca
say that
as
again?
well.
The internet
Oh.
nerfed you, but I want to hear what you guys said so bad. It went a bit around Zeke and a bit about N.
No.
Yeah. You're fine on my end, by the way.
Cool.
I said N's probably a little enamored. Like visually. Like they smirk a
Yeah.
little bit just sometimes when they see how excited Willow is talking about this.
Yeah.
I'm very actively listening, smiling, asking questions.
Oh, Willow loves questions. Willow would love Luca to ask questions, especially I don't quite understand that. Willow finds 800 different ways to explain the same thing back to her.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
So they have a very,
like-
very busy chatter.
And
Yeah.
Very
just
busy.
contently listening to you two.
Oh man, the amount of like tangents that would come off the back of like, and this is how this story ended, but according to another like perspective,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
and then like but like, it goes on for the whole time. They don't realize that they have stepped up to the nodding poppy until like they stop walking, and it's like, oh, we're back.
Did you want to come in for dinner?
You want to continue this discussion inside over some warm soup?
I mean, I might as well. I've got nowhere to be. I wonder if Mr. Varys has left yet.
Well, only one way to find out.
Mhm.
Ding dong.
Yeah. You open up the door again and announce your arrival, and Seeker Elsa calls out, "We're in the kitchen."
We
We.
looking at Willow like, we.
Huh. I wonder if we should tell him.
Or you
Willow
have to give
says
him.
like they're busting at
Yeah,
the seams.
as you walk in, you see Seeker Elsa along with Varys Greenleaf, the elf Aerith, and the halfling Darlington, two members of the
Oh.
Silver Dancer, and a young woman with two small children, like maybe 5 and 3 years old.
Is she married?
One sitting on Varys's lap and the other in hers. And they all greet you again, and as you walk in.
Oh,
This
we
must
have
be
guests.
Varys's niece and
Yes.
Yeah.
such.
Sorry, I imagine Willow does a big oh as soon as they walk in, which is like they have a very notable like aggressively sheening like joy right now.
Uh-huh.
So it's just like big gleaming. Oh, like everyone's here.
The gang's all here.
Yeah, you all get greeted, and Seeker Elsa says, "I'm so glad you're back. I was wondering if you'd managed to get back. Is all well?"
All is
Very well, Sika.
Uh, Willow got some good news, so
And we dealt with the problem mostly, so yes.
It's a relief
So
to
we
hear.
might need your assistance later, Sika.
Ah, of course, of course. And Varys says, "Glad you could see me off. This is my niece, Isabella.
Hello?
And
I
her
imagine.
two tykes."
I just assumed that Luca would be the first to shake her hand.
oh yeah, I'm going to like graciously
Yeah.
take her hand and like bow over it and say it's a pleasure to meet you.
Yeah, there's like lots of friendly greeting and so on.
Yeah.
There's some general chatter. I'm not going to roleplay it out because I can't
No.
voice.
17 people, it's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks. But Isabella is here to pick up Uncle Varys, and has offered to let him stay at her place for a while he finds his feet again, after disappearing for so long. Varys seems in good spirits, if kind of still like. Actually, give me insight checks for
Yes,
anybody
I'm
who
going
wants
to. Thank
yes,
you.
good.
I'm like sitting here with like bated breath, like I want to answer that.
All of us or just Willow?
Whoever's interested. I
All
think.
of you.
Okay, never mind.
Oh, honey. That was to me? Oh, and you too, Ed?
Yeah, me too.
So Willow, you notice that like Varys is smiling, but it's like that sort of heart-achy smile of like, oh man, I've been away for so long.
Yeah, she has kids. How old are the
Yeah.
kids?
3 and 5.
Yeah, so
Oh
he
man, he missed the whole
missed the
like
whole
everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's his
Aw.
first time meeting them.
He didn't get to be Uncle Varys.
Well, he's Uncle Varys now.
Yeah.
But man, this would be bittersweet for him.
Yeah. So he's feeling away.
Yeah.
He's holding it together, but he's like, it's, you can tell that there's like some emotion there.
Does Seeker also have like say like if Willow knew cleaning magic, they would use it, but they don't know it. Does she have anything around that is good for like instant cleaning? A disinfecting station or something?
I'm sure she has disinfecting station and stuff.
Yeah, Willow's.
This is a clinic, so yeah.
Yeah, it should. But I think
I'd-
Willow might ask.
You want to ask
Yeah.
me? I work here. I live here.
Oh, okay.
I can take
If
you to the place more subtly.
Anyway,
Yeah, good point. Carry on, Zeke.
either way, you know that. Actually, Willow, you probably saw it when you were helping Seepker Elsa the other week. Make stuff.
Yeah.
Just rubbing alcohol and such cleaning materials.
What's Isabella's vibe?
Isabella is happy to see her uncle again. She's got that like slightly tired young mum energy about her.
Oh, my favorite.
Like clearly she is happy to see part of her family again, especially after Varys has been gone for so long.
Yeah.
It seems like they were on good terms before he disappeared, so yeah.
And what are the kids like? Are they like ripping up the walls, or are they well behaved? Like I know they're
No,
sitting on her lap.
I think they're kind of tired at this point. It's
Aw.
like late enough in the evening where they've like after a long walk. It's that when you take small children to a restaurant and they start falling asleep in
No.
the chairs.
Cute.
That's the kind of vibe that the kids have.
No. Well, yeah. I assume that everyone is chattering enough
Yeah,
that Willow could peel away for a second.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah. I want to go and I'm just going to go and wash the pipe and the necklace.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Can take some time. I'm sure you have like polish and stuff in your pockets as well.
Yeah. It's mainly getting the fact of tomb off it. That's the thing. Varys can concern himself with the other stuff, but in any case, I don't imagine it would take long.
Mm-hmm.
And are we having dinner together, or they already had dinner?
You're having dinner together. Like dinner gets served.
Cute.
Cute.
Nice after a long day.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The two sailors say their goodbyes just before dinner. They were mostly like hanging out to chat with Varys before he moved.
Yeah.
Basically. There's a fondness there. They speak warmly with him, and they wave you goodbye and say, "See you at work."
See you at
to
work.
Willow, basically.
Yeah. Willow waves them off with a smile.
Yeah. Varys basically says, "Think I'll have a smoke before I sit down for dinner. I'll go outside."
Big eyes at Willow. Like,
Yeah.
this is your
And
chance.
it's got like resting their chin on their hand, looking at Willow. Their eyes kind of flick to Varys and then back to Willow.
You're all the worst. You're all the actual worst.
They're not saying anything.
Luckily, Willow's you are actually. Willow's in too high spirits to let that embarrass them, though. So
Once.
right? Okay, so Willow's going to say without elaborating, "Oh, me as well," and follow him out.
Okay.
Yeah.
That pipe was for Willow.
Of course. They wanted to take up smoking after seeing Varys.
We cut outside to Varys heading out into the garden at the back of the Nodding Poppy, and putting his hands in his pockets and not taking out his pipe and just sort of So-
Willow knock. Oh, I'm already there.
I
Okay.
imagine, yeah.
So, I was going to say this is where we met, but it isn't really. It's the place of significant conversations, though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're not wrong with that.
It's not too late to throw you a farewell party.
It's... not really in the mood for much celebrating, if that's alright with
Yeah.
you.
No, it's fine. I was mostly joking anyway.
It looks like he's more out here to collect his thoughts.
Do you mind me being here?
No, you're fine, you're fine.
Hmm.
It's just a lot's been happening.
I hope you know you can always come back.
Oh, I know. Seeker Elsa has made that abundantly clear. As of you.
Not to... Yeah, well, I've been unclear about many things, but hopefully I'm glad at least that got through.
He sort of sighs. 6 years, huh? My niece wasn't even married before. Well, a lot happens in 6 years, huh?
Yeah. I'm sorry about it. It's a lot to think about.
Yeah, I'm not so... I'm trying to get past the being sad about it and just sort of think about it for once.
Well, it's early days. You can be both. You can sadly think about it. And hopefully the sadness becomes less potent and revelations begin. I don't know what I'm saying. I'm sorry. Every time I speak to you, I feel like I'm just spouting nonsense.
No, it's alright. I can tell it comes from a good place.
Yeah, it would be nice if it was a useful place. But in any case, I think you're doing as well as you can. It's really any
That's...
wonder you're still standing.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I did have 6 years of feeling sorry for myself as a fish. So...
yeah, well, you have some time to feel sorry for yourself as Varys. Mr. Varys. Captain Varys?
Well, maybe someday again.
Oh, yeah?
Well, we'll see where life takes me next. For now, it's to Regalport and in the next week or so to the palace to meet with High Prince Ryger's court and get a message relayed to him.
Well, it's closer than we are to talking to Captain Prince Rygo. What do I call him?
He just sort of laughs in amusement.
I'm having the same issue as you.
You know, you kind of remind me of Duncan.
Sorry, I didn't mean to.
I'm. I
in
suppose
what way?
that's not the. Well.
No. I mean, you're free to will his ears are flat. Pardon?
You're. Well, no offense, you're a little awkward, but your heart's in the right place. Seems like you think a lot about a lot of things, and not necessarily in the way that most people think of them. Anyway, if you're curious about what happens to me next, you could tag along to the court here, and as far as I know, they're public.
Oh,
Certainly nothing wrong with me inviting a guest. Can bring your other friends too, though I'm not sure if they're as interested in you or as you are in the goings on.
oh, they're interested in your well-being.
Hmm.
Or your fate, your future from this point on.
Thank
So
you.
yeah, they'd be excited to. Luke is excited for everything, and we'll come probably.
Hmm.
It'll be interesting. I think they are very well informed on the principalities now.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. Willow doesn't elaborate, but they smile to themselves. In any case, I would be honored to attend. So, thank you.
He nods. So,
That was needlessly dramatic. Sorry.
nothing wrong with a little bit of melodrama.
What a sea dragon thing to say.
So, what's the actual reason you followed me out here?
You are too insightful, Mr. Varys. Sir Varys, Captain Varys.
You're not a very good liar, Willow. It's not a bad
anyway.
thing.
It is for a pirate. Willow pulls the pipe out of their pocket.
There's
Speaking of
lots of kinds of
piracy,
pirates.
there are many kinds of pirates. Anyway, deflecting. A gift. Another one. And a less... sorry about the books.
Oh, no, it just wasn't expected.
Yeah. Nothing these past few weeks has been expected.
He looks at the pipe curiously. Oh, where'd you find this?
Somewhere very
must-
legal and not morbid at all.
He raises an eyebrow at you.
Willow grins.
So that hound you were hunting, what
Mhm.
happened to it?
Died.
You'll kill it?
Maybe.
He gives you a sort of come on now look of like, you're being awful coy.
I am. It's because
And
we
you're...
killed it.
Figured as much. Congratulations. And this pipe. Don't imagine it's been in a hellhound's belly or some nonsense like that. Didn't
Absolutely not. It was in its
swallow.
pocket.
Oh, of course.
I'm waggling it at Varys.
He huffs and accepts the pipe. Thank you. Oh. He sort of hefts it in his hand, tested its weight. Solid ivory. Huh.
It may or may not have been stolen from a tomb.
He raises his eyebrows.
Willow shrugs.
You gonna tell me any more about that, or are you saving it for the whole table?
I don't think Seeker also wants to know about it. That's why I'm giving it out here.
Huh. I see. Well. He tucks it into his coat pocket and pats it. Then it shall keep... I'll keep it a secret then.
Oh, and this, actually. Willow's going to give him the necklace for your niece.
Oh! Thanks. Wow.
It's also from the tomb, but I cleaned them.
He nods. Well, thank you for your many gifts and many treasures. You sure you're not a pirate? He sort of
I'm a
says, like, with
tinkerer.
a little smug smile.
Yeah. Willow responds with the also knowing, or rather known grin, saying, I'm a tinkerer.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Tinkerer that kills horrible beasts and breaks curses and floors abandoned places.
Shrugs.
I see. Well,
Guess we'll find out next time.
you have my thanks, Willow Jenkins.
Willow kind of looks away with a shrug, like a nonchalant shrug.
Mm-hmm.
Their ears do the little flick of like they're flustered, but they're flattered.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cute. I think after some time you head back inside for dinner.
Yep.
Anne and Luca, you up to anything or any conversations you guys want to have before or over dinner?
I mean, we're probably not going to talk about the tomb with the niece here, with Elsa. So,
That's fair.
or Willow's eyes with the niece here and Elsa here.
Yeah.
So I think
That's fair.
around company that's just general chatter, unless Luca has something
Okay.
he wants to
Yeah.
talk about.
Yeah,
Well,
I'm
we're
just
still in
checking.
company, so
Yeah.
Yeah.
nothing
Oh.
for the
I,
moment.
rec- I reckon as soon as Miss Varys left and like one of the kids needed like a lap to sit on, Luca's like
Yeah, pretty much.
Cutie.
Unky Luca.
I can
Big Uncle
imagine.
Luca.
And no knives. These are children. So and shows them a few dice tricks to keep them occupied while they're waiting
Aw.
for dinner.
Aw. Cute. Yeah. By the end of the meal, the children are like asleep in laps.
Drooling on the niece's shoulder.
Yeah. And Varys says thank you. It's still like early evening, that they say. Isabella says, thank you so much for having us, Seeker. Thank you so much. And Varys says his thanks as well, and gives Seeker Elsa a hug. Goodbye. And gives you all handshakes, if you'll accept them.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I
I
will
will.
hug him.
Aw.
No hugs, but
Will Luca hug him?
Yeah.
Aw.
I am a man who hugs, thank you.
Yeah. Varys gets kind of swamped because Luca is like significantly taller than him. But gives him like a hearty clap on the back and says, "Ah, don't be strangers if you're ever in Regalport. Feel free to give us a call."
Oh, we absolutely
Uh,
will.
And we'll be sure to attend your meeting.
He smiles.
Stay safe
Right.
out there.
Yes. Will do.
Willow's handshake
And
is accompanied by a salute, by the way.
ah.
Oh.
And Varys says farewell to you all and says, well, we'd better catch that last ferry. And heads off.
And stares at the door for a couple of minutes.
Imagine Willow's waving him off from like the door, like door
Yeah.
frame, just watching them go.
Yeah. Seeker Elsa and Luca too, I imagine.
Yeah.
Wave them off
Or
until they
are out
disappear
of sight.
behind the hill. Yeah.
Yeah. Pokemon farewell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ends lingering in the background, but they do seem like they're getting a little lost in thought.
Mhm.
Mm.
You head back inside and start cleaning up the kitchen and winding down for the evening.
Yeah. What you
Damn, I
thinking,
should have
Hen?
given them a blender.
There's still time.
Or we could.
Is that just
We
the
could-
gift you give everyone? Like, that's the baseline gift. That's the beginning.
I didn't realize I said that out loud.
Where's my blender, Willow?
I haven't gotten a blender yet.
You got a blender. It's in your arm.
What?
And I got you a dagger. And
Yeah, that's the beginnings of a blender. I just have to make it one now.
just spin it really fast.
Yep. I can do that.
Which of my fingers is the blender?
All of them. You have to put your whole hand into whatever liquid or substance you require blending and just think blend.
You can be really good at making cakes now. Your arm is just a mixer, apparently.
I get the feeling you're messing with me.
I mean, that seems like something Willow could do if you asked nicely.
Willow Jenkins, would you do me the honor of putting a blender in my hand?
Huh. Willow's thinking about it.
It's an amazing opportunity. I mean,
It's not
It
every
might
day.
break porcelain. I think maybe if you get a metal arm, we'll think about it.
Oh.
things to
Will we?
aspire to, Luca.
Yes, of all the things I want in life, a blender in my hand is right up there.
Willow shrugs. Might be the first of its kind.
So as you're cleaning up and joking with each other, you've basically told Seeker Elsa to leave the cleanup to you, and she does, as she says about her own nighttime routine, locking up the poppy and so on. At
She
least the
hears us
front door.
laughing from
Yeah.
the kitchen, which is cute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I imagine, there's a shot of the camera, watching Seeker Elsa as she overhears you laughing from the kitchen door and smiling to herself.
Aww.
Wah.
I love Elsa so much. Oh, so
And
cute.
then she comes in, and you're all cleaned up and says, "So, now that company has cleared out and we're all settled, would you be able to tell me what happened?"
Well,
We don't have to roleplay this out exactly, but you can
Yeah.
summarize.
broad strokes.
Because, well, yeah.
Broad strokes, Yeah, I'd tell her everything. I don't hide anything from her. So,
Yeah. Found the burrow. We talked to the skeletons and found out it was you
yeah.
who put all that
Yeah,
there.
she
I would show her my
reacts-
spider glands.
Oh, great,
Ew.
good.
So proud of them.
She reacts with surprise. It's like, the barrow, it was broken open?
Apparently.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. Well, that explain. And the creature that you found, it was a shadow hound? Was it?
It
I
was
look at Willow.
Yeah, and
death
two.
dog. Death dog? Is that what it's called? Death dog?
Yes.
It was a death dog that was parasitized. Just like Luca, I forgot how to say the word. Parasitized. That it was covered in parasites from shadow parasites.
That's very strange. I've never heard of that happening before. Huh, and, well, I
Was
suppose
your
you might have some
handiwork?
questions. Yes. When I first came here, the woods were a lot more dangerous at night. I found the source of them and, well, tried to close it up as best I could. It worked for a while, at least.
That's amazing.
Yeah. What can't you do, Elsa?
Well, I suppose suppose we should deal with that sooner rather than later. Obviously not tonight, but well, I'll need to gather materials to replace the glyph that I had set.
Can I?
Oh dear.
Okay, Willow's going to lean over again. What kind of monsters were there before?
Oh, simply shadows. Restless spirits of darkness.
Creepy.
And how did you find out? Right? And how did you detect them there?
Well, there were stories of people going missing in the woods, and during darkness, especially in winter, I didn't really have much to work with, but I am familiar with those sorts of things. It is somewhat my area of expertise. So
And then-
I went there with a few of my fellow faithful at the time, who have since passed, and did what we could.
You did a very good job. It held up for years.
Suppose we'll need to find a different solution that won't be quite as... Well, I was expecting human interference, not monstrous interference.
On that note, is there any chance you can access the ethereal plane?
No. I'm afraid not.
We have reason to believe there might be spider eggs in the ethereal plane. Because as Luca mentioned before, we did fight a spider that was able to go in and out of the ethereal plane, and we have reason to believe it had babies. And it says, like, Squid Game, like they're recalling the sight of the spider eating the other spider.
Oh, man.
Like, distinct disgust.
Alistair's like, well, I'm afraid that's beyond my skill set, certainly.
Cool. Okay.
That's fine. That's fine.
We'll figure
That might
something
be an
out.
anomaly anyway. Who knows?
Well, with any luck, the offspring of that phase spider you fought will either simply strike out on their own and leave the tomb, as there shouldn't be any food in there for them.
Aside from each other?
Well,
I think that was a special case, Luca.
Okay.
Courting ritual.
I really don't want to think about it.
We're
Yeah,
saying this very
well.
quietly when Elsa kind of Willow leans over and says, courting. Like,
the face I imagine N pulling of
Yeah.
like, ugh.
Yeah. And is not enjoying this. Just don't
The
elaborate. Just
mental
don't
yuck.
elaborate. I don't want to know. I already know too much.
You think you know too much.
Don't spread it around. Aren't you tired of
Anyway.
talking at this point?
Does Ed
Yep.
say that out loud?
Yeah, after Willis whispers that in their ear.
You'd be surprised, but no, actually.
I'm not surprised. Anyway, we have reason to believe that this is the situation. But yes, hopefully they'll just
Yes, thank you
spread
for
out.
telling me. Well, I will need to take a day off then, to deal with that. We'll also need material supplies. She sort of hums to herself as she tries to remember what it needs. I really don't have the resources available to me to
What do you need?
do that. Well, it's an expensive spell, to say the least.
Oh, what do you need?
incense and powdered diamond worth at least 200 gold pieces.
And nods. Alright.
It was quite the undertaking when I did it, and well, I had just arrived, so I had traveling money.
We'll find it. It
Yeah.
needs to be done.
We'll figure
So-
something out.
But
So do it.
what you did for now, leaving light in there, that's a good first step. Perhaps there's a simpler way of dealing with it. Something like an ever-bright lantern or something like that.
Suppose we
You
have to
could
go
cut
to
a hole in the roof.
Well, yes, destroying the structure itself would certainly make it
We
more
don't wanna-
difficult.
You don't
for
want to
things
break it.
Yes. It would also be somewhat difficult to collapse an entire 100-foot wide hill.
And it's history. You can't just go breaking.
Well, I didn't mean break it. I just meant like make
Just
it
carve a hole into it.
Yeah.
Sunroof.
Exactly.
No. We will figure out something else. I on my own figure out some kind of infusion, some kind of.
There is a common magic item called an ever-bright lantern, which lights all the streets, or lights the streets in cities and stuff, which is based on a spell called Continual Flame. It is not cheap, but it is certainly not as expensive as the Glyph of Warding.
I wonder if
You don't
Malachi
know
knows.
if... Yeah. Malachi sells those.
Sells what?
Ever-bright lanterns.
What? Then I know a place.
Yeah.
We
I
look
say
at
to
you
Elsa,
like, yeah.
Sorry. We know a place.
No, like, what are you talking about?
Malachi?
Malachi, yes. See?
Oh,
Looks at Luca like, see?
That is the one place we
Ins-
get magic items.
Yeah. I think he might have something. And at least in the meantime, since none of us have powdered diamonds lying around.
Not even in your pockets, Willow?
Not even in my pockets, no.
Oh, wow.
Mm.
Really at an impasse then.
Very much so.
Willow's pockets
Willow
don't
remembers
have it.
what's in their pockets
It's
and grins.
not Willow's pockets, you know you're in trouble.
Well, I suppose we'll have to plan for that eventuality, but thank you very much for dealing with this problem.
Yeah, no problem.
I give her a nod and a smile. Like, yeah.
Thank you very much for preventing it from being a problem for the past 2 decades.
Yeah, you've been taking care of salvage for quite a long time.
Hmm.
In quite a
Thank
many ways.
I would love to learn more about it one day. I've never seen glyphs quite like that.
Ah, well. If you're interested, I can tell you about it more, and certainly if we recover the materials to cast that spell again, it would be quite useful.
Oh, I have one more question.
Yes?
Who were the 4 guardians there?
Ah, well, they are some old friends of mine.
Of course. Well, they were very kind. And I believe they send their regards.
I'm glad to hear they're still walking about.
Mhm.
And I'm glad to hear that they didn't harm you. That is a relief.
Nope.
They were
I think
very
they
friendly.
recognized him.
They liked Luca, that's for sure.
Ah, I see.
Kind of sit up like I'm proud of myself for that.
Cute. Well then, yes, much to think about. We'll have to deal with the Barrow later on. think for now I'm ready to retire for the night.
Of course.
It has been a long day.
For all of us.
Yes, you certainly look a little worse for wear, certainly a little bit travel worn. But I'm glad you've made it all back safely. And Elsa excuses herself for the night. She gives Luca a little kiss goodnight on the forehead and waves to Willow and Anne and
waves
heads
back.
upstairs to her room.
Yeah.
You are free to spend the rest of the evening as you like. And unless
Luca wanna-
yeah,
Did me
Unless
want to
it's-
what?
Did
yeah,
Luca want to make her a tea or something? Is she okay?
yeah, she's fine. She's just
Okay.
tired. It's just her
Sleepy
bedtime.
old lady. Nice.
Yeah.
Did she want a tea? Did Luca make a tea? It's okay.
If-
Anyway, carry on.
If she wanted one, he would have
Yeah.
made her one. So, yeah.
It's all right.
Carry on, Zeke, with whatever you were saying.
So if there are any conversations you have to discuss, speak now. Or we're gonna move forward in time again.
I think Willow's probably going to want to open the map up again, but also like before they can, like immediate yawn of like body is shutting down. Like they're about to start talking again, but before they can, they're like,
You want to grab a bed around here?
Pardon?
You want to have a
Would
nap
you like to spend the night here? Since you're here already.
instead of having to make the long
Oh,
walk back?
It's not that long. I could walk. I might as well go home and my shirt. But
Well, you're welcome to stay.
well, it depends. What are we doing tomorrow?
That is the question, isn't it?
Going
I
into
could go home and
Regoport?
try and find something. Pardon?
Are we going into Regoport?
I guess we might as well visit Malachi.
It'd be a start.
And then all ourselves we can steal a street lamp.
That might not get the effect we want. Or are you saying you're going to tinker it into
Yes.
something more effective? Yeah. That makes sense.
We could reach up, grab it, and can cut it off with a knife, and then I will make it function somehow.
Ah, so we're just going full pirate now. I see.
We just
to Willow's
raided
roots.
tombs. Yes, back to Willow's roots. Anyway, we just raided a tomb. I don't think we can get much. Oh, Luca, you should try on your earrings.
I didn't take the earrings.
What?
Also, I don't know if I have my ears pierced. I don't.
Sorry.
Can I check that?
Would you-
now that
would you
Luca's
like us
bringing
to
it up?
check?
Yeah. And starts leaning. Squinting.
Yeah. I kind of lean towards and
There are no visible holes there. If you want to make a perception check
Sure.
to
I'm
see
here.
if there ever were. Yeah, it looks like there are some very faint indentations of maybe once a piercing or two. Long ago.
Huh. Well, they're not pierced now, but looks like they were at one point.
oh, that's interesting.
I can pierce, probably.
You can.
In any case, can we say that N took them? I want Luca to have. Why did we take them?
Well, they're not.
Um,
They're not really his style.
I'm gonna assume you took all the treasure, and what you're not keeping for yourself, you're planning to sell.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm gonna
okay,
assume we
yeah.
took
Fair.
it too. So let's just say you took it. Just for
Yeah.
pretty.
Okay,
You said you were going to give them to Elsa, so
I did.
that's yeah. And I just said they're to me, ew. But you know, yeah. Should Willow spend the night? I think Willow's like at an impasse. They're not tired enough that they can't walk home, and they're ready to like. I'm doing the walk, the victory walk. They're willing to do
Yeah.
that and go home. I think Willow would want to go home.
Well,
I
that's
think
up
it
to
is
you.
Fair. And the materials and stuff that you need to repair Fish Dog are at home anyway. You can't
Yeah,
keep your
okay, yeah.
entire workshop in your pockets.
Yeah,
Though
It
you
is
are
though.
trying.
I need to go wake up Fish Dog anyway.
Oh, that's true.
Right. Poor
Yeah.
thing.
Oh, speaking of, you won't have a sentry here tonight, but hopefully that's okay. I look at N.
I'm here.
Yeah, I have a sentry. And nods to Luca. Thank you, Willow.
Indeed you do. It's fine.
Gonna be okay walking alone?
I can take you.
I'm sure I will manage. If I need you, I'll yell.
I'll be listening.
Okay, well, good work today, everybody.
Get some rest.
Try not to stay up all night thinking about the map.
Yeah. Dude, I
Ah.
mean it. Try to get some rest.
Yeah. Okay. Willow says in that way of like, I will do nothing that you told me to, but okay. Thanks for speaking at me. You as well.
Mm-hmm. We have a long day tomorrow. I don't expect, I don't want you to collapse in the middle of it, because I can't carry you. And I doubt you want to be carried by Luca through Regalport. That would probably be a little embarrassing.
There are worse ways to embarrass yourself in Regalport.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure you would know.
How rude. Anyway, I'm going to leave on that note. Thank you for today.
And you. You did have a lot of work today, so thank you.
We all did, so. See you tomorrow.
Yeah.
Good night.
Good night.
I'm gonna walk them out.
Okay, Willow
Yeah.
zips off with a wave and Jog walks away.
Yeah.
Any conversations that Luca and En have after Willow leaves, or you gonna move forward in time?
I think we can jump forward for now.
All right, if
You don't
Luca's
want to
not
discuss anything that happened?
if Luca's not gonna say anything, then we'll look at Luca. But if
I give
Luca's-
them a tight-lipped smile, like I am thinking of something, but I don't know if I should say it.
Mm-hmm. Well,
I will sit.
you might be the only one among us with eyes that haven't ended up in some sort of way. So, we might be counting on your insight, Luca.
I think Willow's eyes might see more than mine.
Yeah. I'm getting that impression as well. Yeah. It all kind of makes sense now.
Does it?
Well, just talking to myself.
You can talk to me. I'm here.
Thank you, Luca. You're very kind, but... well, it's pretty obvious now. Anyway, you go get some rest.
Might be obvious for you, but I think not for me so much.
We both have weird eyes, me and Willow. Doesn't take a genius to see why they're interested in me. Wait, sorry. I'm not calling you an idiot.
That's fine, I didn't notice.
Anyway, not important. Doesn't involve you.
I suppose not. Then I'll let you go to sleep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good night.
Good night.
And then we'll move away. Still seeming deep in thought. You can tell there was
Luca
a lot
as
on their
well.
mind that they weren't saying. Like, they weren't subtle about it.
I'll let them be. I might stay up and have some tea to myself.
Mm-hmm. Will, are you doing anything interesting? Or
I
do you
will
want
say that
any scene before we cut forward in time
I
as
think
Willow arrives back at their shop?
I was going to say, I think Willow noticed the tone of En's voice when they said things on the way out, like the loadedness in En's voice.
Mm-hmm.
Like Willow noticed that, but they're just riding this high, and they're
Yeah.
not going to discuss that. Like it.
Yep.
So they observe that look on En's face. So just imagine their eyes flick towards En, and they're just going "I'm going home. I'm going home for the evening. We are not discussing this." So that's just something they've noticed, the tight-lippedness of how when they leave.
Yeah.
It is what it is. Willow probably gets home and lays out the map again and just ogles it in amazement and does a little I imagine a moment where they lay it out on the table and then they look at it and they are serious for a moment and then they do a they do a little spin in their room because they're and then they can be loud and annoying
Yeah.
just making multiple hand gestures at it there it is, but all just quiet jumping around their room. Eventually they're probably gonna plop onto their chair a bit and then just the high lasts, it does. But then I imagine a distant fading the weight also kind of comes back, and
Yeah.
I mainly imagine that along with the weight, Willow might let's say, that plate they picked up in the previous in Regalport?
Yeah.
Do you think that's reflective?
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah. I know Willow probably has a mirror to check out their outfits and stuff, but I also imagine
Yeah.
they have that. Anyway, just imagine
Yeah.
a series of reflected surfaces, and Willow
Yeah.
goes to their main mirror and takes their glasses off briefly. Again, they are struck by that
Yeah, that you have a slight width. It's better indoors, and it's
Yeah.
more that it hurts over time, so
yeah.
there's a brief wince as your eyes sort of adjust to seeing everything again.
Yeah. And they looking in the mirror and just kind of poking around to see what they look like if they can.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're trying to just
Yeah, make a perception check.
Oops. Perception. Oh.
So your ethereal vision is still there. You examine your eyes. It's difficult to tell if it's gotten worse or if it's just settled into place over time. When this first happened to you, it was very difficult to look at your own eyes and see things because you just kept getting distracted by everything around you. It was information overload, but you've kind of learned a little bit how to pick out the details of what is physical and what is immaterial. Man, your eyes look so different.
Yeah, I imagine Willow's their fingertips kind of prod along, so they have that marking that goes from the
Yeah.
outer corner of their eye to halfway down the
Yeah.
middle. They have that little spot next to their eye, but then it's they're just kind of tugging a little at their eyelids and just observing what's there until they
Yeah.
get probably a little bit of that fog starts coming back in, and then they shake their head and put their glasses back on. Just
The
flatly
fog
look
you
at
see is sort of emanating from you. It's
Yeah.
you can see the color of your own magic,
Yeah.
which is a little bit weird and disturbing to see.
Yeah. It's yeah, Willow's not used to seeing that or not fond of seeing that, especially not in this context where it is very wrong. Like you either
Yeah.
see it or you don't. You don't see both at the same time. So it's just like a
Yeah.
headache waiting to happen. So
Yeah.
Willow turns away, puts on their glasses, and just like looks flatly at their bespectacled face, smiles, and walks away. And I think they would probably start working on Fish Dog tonight.
Yeah. Cool. We jump forward in time to the next morning, 7th of Therendor. Uh-oh. Accident closed, roll 20.
We jump forward. No, we don't. Boom.
DM nerfed.
Oh no, come back.
I think we are going to settle into a short period of downtime.
All right.
So, a few days. So, there is the discussion of what to do with this map.
Hmm.
Well, I need money, so
Are we discussing this? Are we together?
Yeah, does Willow come
I
back?
imagine
or
you're.
do we go to Willow's boat?
I imagine this is the next day. You tell me of where you guys are. You could either be at Willow's boat while they're like working on projects for, their actual job as arcane tinkerer at the salvage docks,
Yeah,
or
I mean, I think it'd be cute if Willow and if Anne and Luca showed up with like snacks
Yeah.
at Willow's
That'd
boat
be nice.
in the morning.
Yeah.
What do you
I
say,
think Willow
Luca?
would intend to visit, but yeah, if you guys beat them to it, then
Yeah.
yeah, Willow, you fell asleep mid working on Fish Dog, then you woke up and finished working on Fish Dog.
yeah,
And also, there was just a lot of time where you just like lost track of time looking at the map and like examining all the very like fine details of like, okay, that's a reef, and if you
Yeah.
go through here, and okay, there's depth markings, and like lots of
yeah,
poring over the map and just like losing time examining
Yeah.
it because you're so enthralled.
yeah. Also, just a lot of time going, wow,
Yeah.
map.
Lots of
Yeah.
like ear flickies and tail wags whenever you look at the
Yeah.
map again. You're just like, this is so cool.
I do imagine after Willow's initial like woo, there was like they kind of settled into okay, serious business, but every now and then they're still just like
Their tail just starts going out
Yeah.
of nowhere.
serious face, tail, like coat is just like
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh.
They're also probably playing their music now by the time you guys show up, and they're what's the word? They would probably also try and either write down coordinates or just copy the map in
Yeah.
various ways. Yeah, they probably like trace it.
Yep.
And put that in their pocket. But I think they would be halfway through that when these guys show up.
Bing
They're
bong.
jumping between their work, and this map. This map is constantly there.
Yeah, you have it like laid out on a different table, and you just keep like swiveling back over to it, and
Yeah.
Like-
map. Yeah. Okay. So Bing Bong.
Bing bong.
Yep.
Yep. I will. No, it's you guys probably. If the door's locked,
Yeah.
it means I'm working, so I go and open it.
You can smell the nodding poppy. The herbs.
Yeah.
You can also smell like pastries or whatever
Oh.
they
Yeah.
brought with.
Luca's got a basket,
Good.
I'm sure.
It's like
Oh,
a
yeah.
basket of like fresh bread rolls,
Good
some
morning.
of the jam.
Good morning.
How'd you sleep?
So much.
We brought you breakfast.
Thank you.
You are all fully rested, by the way, and
Yes.
Yeah.
oh yeah.
have spell slots and everything back.
Yes.
Yay.
I mainly get my hit dice back.
Yeah.
You guys walk in. How are you going?
Fine. Shoulder feels pretty
So-
much good as new, so
Oh, good. Good.
And
Good,
says
good.
rolling
I've been
it.
looking at this map.
yeah, I'm not surprised. Find out
It
anything
is-
interesting?
A masterpiece. But yes, everything interesting there is to know about it.
Well, are you planning to do anything with it?
I'm still observing it.
Put it up on the wall in a glass case?
No. Maps are made to be used.
So you're planning a little trip?
I'm not entirely sure because, well, I mean, yes, but like it depends really. Um quick question to Zeke, because Willow would have thought of this. How far is this archipelago?
I can take you to the world map and show you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Lupus. Willow slaps down a world map.
Okay, so if we go...
Not in the demon wastes.
Nope, you have
Hope
to
not.
move all the way to the east.
Yes.
So, Trabasanara is not actually that far
Oh,
away.
yeah. It's just over there.
Oh, it
It
is.
is here.
To the
It
north.
is known for its treacherous reefs. It is not a settled land. There's been attempts, but they've never worked. There's something about the currents around that island that like makes it very difficult to settle. So the nearest that most people get is Port Verge.
But we have a map
Mm-hmm.
that apparently
do.
details a safe route.
Yeah.
Yes.
If we took your small boat here, we might have an even better chance.
That is true.
That is true.
The other thing,
Yes.
like, this probably pops to N's mind more than Willow's, is that this kind of shit would sell for a lot of money. Like, this is the kind of high-ticket auction item
Yeah.
that you hear about.
I mean, it would definitely be worth a lot more than the map itself.
Beg your pardon?
The treasure.
One would assume, unless of course the legends are all false and we get there and it's maybe the treasure with the friends you made along the way sort of treasure. You know what I mean? But I don't.
Or it
really
could be a
think
path
so.
that kills us.
It could be a path that kills us, yes, and then its value is nil except for the experience, which I mean is not necessarily nil. But if you're looking for money, Willow sort of gives that they weren't thinking of money look.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so you guys mentioning money has made them like, oh yeah, you guys are thinking treasure. Of course, like the function of treasure, not necessarily just treasure. I mean, it seems. I suppose it's a bargain. You value up the map itself or the treasure itself. If it is money you're looking for.
We could always use the map, go there. If the treasure really is the friendships we made along the way, then we come back and we sell the map. No one has to know what we found.
Also depends who we sell the map to, you don't know. And what the information, what the actual treasure is there. What if it's...
If it's nothing, we still have the map. If it's something, we have more treasure.
And who would we even give the map to? Would we give it to someone with like less power? Would we give it to someone with much power? It might change things. We don't know. The person who finds the pirate queen's treasure, surely they're going to end up being a legend.
Probably.
That could be us, but I don't. Well, I didn't.
Do you want the publicity, Willow? You don't seem like the type.
Well, that's exactly why I'm not thinking about it. But in any case, okay, Willow's just kind of holding their head. They've thought themselves into a stupor.
We have it. No particular rush. Just keep it hidden. Don't keep it on the table when you have customers.
Oh, are you customers?
We're not customers, that's why you're allowed to keep it on the table, Willow.
Sorry, my door was locked.
Well, I could
You
have
opened
busted
it.
through the window if I really wanted to, but I'm not going to do that.
If anyone wants to steal from my boat, they would have already. More to the point, if anyone could steal from my boat, they would have already.
You do have a lot of stuff. If someone wanted to steal a particular item, they would certainly need to try very hard if you put it somewhere that wasn't obvious.
Thank you for calling my boat a mess.
It's a tactical advantage to being robbed.
See, Luca? That's why you should stop folding my laundry. So, that's how far it is. In any case, disregarding the idea of Legend's legacy and the exchange of power, I mean, it would be nice to know. But it's a very idealistic, and I don't know. Anyway, I'm not sure. Let's just focus on the map for now. Look at it.
It is certainly a map.
It is not. Don't be flippant, Luca. You can tell. Even you can tell that's a very nice map. Yes.
It's very well made.
Look at the
pretty.
green. It's not just pretty. Maybe I should tell Captain Varys, Mr. Varys. Maybe maybe Captain Varys. We don't know.
It would be a way for him to get a foot in the door after being away for 6 years.
I considered that, yes, but anything that he gets would, well, unless of course he defects and goes somewhere else, essentially be a handover to Captain Ryger, High Prince, whatever.
High Prince
Ryger.
Ryger.
Yeah,
Yeah, it could fall into his hands.
would probably, unless of course Varys has other ideas. But anyway, Luca, you haven't said something in a minute. What are you thinking?
Nothing.
I believe you. Anyway, Willow goes back to the map. Well, I suppose we have time to think about it. First of all, we have to close that thingy.
It's not like the map's going to explode if we don't tend to it, one way or
It
another.
might. Just,
Willow might.
yeah.
Mm. Just exactly why we need to contain the thing. Out of sight.
Willow's going to tuck it back in their pocket, thanks Anne. And also they will probably see that... no, I think Willow would have hidden the fact that they were tracing it as well. So just out of habit, like they just snatched up their copy of it and shoved it into their pocket.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Before you guys walked in, so yeah.
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 Makes sense. I'm gonna say this for N. You know you have some familiarity with this kind of stuff. So
Mm-hmm.
what you're thinking of is like, who would we sell it to? And the thought that comes to your mind immediately is like, obviously the highest bidder. This is
Yeah.
not the kind of thing that you sell one-to-one. This is a kind of thing that you drum up hype and put on auction.
Yeah.
And get a lot of rich, curious people gambling on whatever this is.
Yep.
We could always go there first and then sell it.
This is, yeah.
Yeah.
That's
I
one
said
of the
that
things
earlier.
we were talking about.
Mm.
Especially since that's like a much lower risk option than, say, going to an abandoned island
Yeah.
that is known for its treacherous reefs that have sunk many ships, that even
Yes.
among the harsh landscape of the Lazar principalities, which stretch far away to the north and have a lot of volcanic islands among them. Yeah, it's much easier to, set up an auction than it is to fund and go on an expedition to find secret pirate treasure.
Yes. And it's not going to immediately rain on Willow's parade, however.
No,
I
but
will
like
say-
this is for the audience's purpose
Yeah.
of like knowing what's going on in N's
Yes.
head.
Yeah. I will also say, on Willow's part, they very much are stuck in the... Basically, any time it comes to tangibly planning to go there, they have stopped thinking. It's solely, like, as much as they're thinking about it, it's not like proper thinking. Do you know what I mean?
They're just daydreaming about it.
Yeah, it's like daydreaming plans of like imagine we went there, but it's not like imagine the logistics. Because I think the second Willow starts imagining logistics, they are shutting this down mentally, because for reason. So, as an aside. So yeah, so as an aside, it's all very dreamy, hypey nonsense, overwrought idealism kind of Willow chatter is anything that they're suggesting at the moment.
Yeah.
But Luca, you okay over there? That's not
Yeah.
Willow asking, that's Mim.
Yeah.
Luca's just silently eating.
Yeah. Lucas just politely sat there listening, eating a muffin.
Oh yeah.
Eyes
I need to get my
ping-ponging between the two of
carbohydrates.
us.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm. It would be pretty dangerous to go, regardless.
There has not been a single event between the three of us that hasn't been dangerous. So
That's out on open sea. I mean, it's not the
as opposed to the
woods.
trip to the Moral Holds, which is, of course, on closed sea.
Well, that's not we're not going directly to a place that is. I mean, I'm
I
not
know.
going directly to a. And kind of stops, and you see them kind of recalibrate in their eyes.
Willow's going to change the subject. We know what you mean. In any case, let's just play it by ear. Let's just bask in the fact that we are sitting in the presence of history, maybe. Shall we?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, and looks at Luca. Willow,
Oh boy.
did you still want me to use my magic on you?
Willow tilts their head. Oh?
Well, we have a healer here if anything goes wrong, right?
Oh.
Sorry?
Well,
It's an experiment, Luca.
well, I mean, it's not how I expected to start my day, but I suppose might as well.
Okay.
I noticed, actually, your magic has changed, hasn't it? As well as yours, Luca, but we discussed that sort of. And your magic has refined?
It's, well, to an extent. I do feel more capable with it.
Hmm.
At least I'm
That
trying
was
to
very
be.
cool. Yeah, our little... Anyway, it's very cool. So you're wanting to, I'm assuming you're wanting to try it now?
Well, there's some spells that I'm not really sure how they work, even though I've been using them. I haven't killed anyone yet, so might as well,
Sure,
right?
that's... Yeah, okay.
If you
sure.
if you want. I'm not trying to pressure
Yeah.
you. You just seemed so eager before, and I was.
No, yeah,
Not,
well,
but-
I was tipsy. But no,
But
you're
sober.
right. I am curious as well. Luca, you don't have any idea what's going on, do you?
I do not.
Luca still eats another muffin.
Watch and learn. Willow's going to tap their wrists, activate their armor.
Do we want to go outside?
Let's step outside.
Yeah.
Yep.
Let's take this outside, big guy. Step out onto the beach.
Yeah.
Did Luke? Oh, yeah, onto the beach. Yeah, behind the boat, so
Yeah.
that no one can see this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Willow, are you using your guardian armor to give you extra hit points?
Yes.
Mask on or off?
Okay.
Mask on.
Okay.
What are you, Venom?
I have no idea what that means, but yes. Okay.
All right, and we'll like not a big distance from Willow, but combat
Yeah.
distance. How they've generally
A
been
peek.
when they use this spell. So close,
Mhm.
but not super close.
Not- yeah.
So pre-warning.
Which one are you using?
Every time I've done this, something has gotten very frightened, and I'm not really entirely sure why, because I'm not exactly the most intimidating figure you've ever met. So, sorry if I scare you. And shrugs, like they're not sure how to really preface this.
Willow shrugs too. Have we
Ah.
explained to Luca what's happening? He looks very confused.
It's a test, Luca. Willow's trying to figure out how
Okay.
my powers work. I'm sorry
Uh-huh.
if I hurt them, but we've consented to this, so I'm counting on you.
Willow gives him a thumbs up.
Puts up a fist.
Mhm.
All right.
All right.
Well,
So, you see, the thing about what Elsa taught N about breathing is N has also discovered that when they breathe really shallowly, they can do the exact opposite of what Elsa taught them to do.
oh my god.
Oh,
which
yeah.
is start to induce panic.
Oh, good.
Which is what.
That's so fucked up.
Yeah.
You've reversed the
Oh.
polarity. Great job. Good, great,
Good job, man.
Good.
But that's what is necessary
Oh my
because
gosh.
they need to be a little hyped up
Cool.
for this to,
Yeah.
to work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, Willow's going to
Okay.
notice you giving yourself a freaking panic attack and is like, oh, that's, well, you know, yeah,
And puts up
okay.
a finger, like, just hold on a minute.
Wait a second.
All right, and then when N is sufficiently panicked, they are going to like imagine Willow as some sort of creature and use dissonant whispers on them.
Okay. Please
Oh.
cast your spell. This is at second level, I believe, because warlock spells are like that. Willow, please make a wisdom saving throw.
Can I make it at disadvantage because I'm not trying? Or is this just a
You
natural?
can choose to fail, but I would say try. I would say automatically you try and resist, but
Yeah, I
I think let's roll with
Willow
disadvantage.
You reckon? Because I think Willow
Yeah.
would actually I changed my mind. Willow would not try to fail. I don't think they know how to fail a wisdom
Okay.
saving throw.
Okay.
So I'll go with normal.
On
yeah.
purpose. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whoops.
Oh well, you fail anyway. So good.
Yeah, but
You take 12 damage as so. And if you would describe what your spell looks like when you cast it.
Yeah, so N is consumed in a shroud of shadows, and dozens of eyes open up over that shroud as it expands over them into just this murky cloud of tendrils, and like a wing comes out. It's kind of messy, it's not too directed, but like different appendages covered in eyes, and maybe if there's something particular that Willow is afraid of, that might start to form.
Yeah, so Willow, you hear these like invasive whispers, voices that sound eerily familiar. Just like you are filled with this like bone dread terror, and like before you even know what you are doing, you are legging it as far away from N as you can. You feel like you like run literally away. So all of your how many temporary hit points do you have?
none.
Your
Oh,
guardian.
is this because of my guardian? Okay, sorry.
Yeah,
How
your
many
guardian
do I
armor
have?
should have temp hit HP.
Yeah, you gain temporary equal to your level in this class.
Okay, so 3. So you take 9 psychic damage as N's magic rips through your little buffer barrier that comes as part of this version of your armor, and you leg it down the beach as like you hear these horrible whispers echoing in your mind.
You
And
okay?
then-
and suddenly back to normal.
I
Well?
imagine Willow also kind of stumbled into the water.
Yeah,
like,
I
to
imagine that
actually
too.
hide. Yeah, like they are
Yeah,
like knee
like-
deep in water before they realize that they have just backed the fuck up into the ocean. So like,
And is
Yeah.
about to go after them, and then they kind of stop
Whew.
and reconsider.
yeah.
Are you okay?
I'm fine.
That was definitely a big spike of adrenaline, and you have a little bit of a nosebleed.
Willow quickly taps off their mask and like wipes their face. Oh boy. That was terrifying.
And staring at you at a distance, they're not coming after you.
Okay, Willow's going to wash their hands in the tide because they just had like quickly wash their face and get like the
Yeah.
blood off. and
Yeah.
start walking back towards, and their legs are wobbly and their voice is shaking. So that was you had a lot of eyes and a wing and appendages and voices, and it was very terrifying. But I completely left my body. I don't even recall running here. My pants are wet. But nonetheless, it was very impressive. I can I make some kind of analysis about this while
Yeah, make an Arcana check.
You got like the shuddering knees.
Okay, so this appears to be some kind of enchantment magic to instill great fear, and then like a test of will to scare something away. So
It
yeah,
worked.
it really worked. It like hit something in your brain that and has no reason to know to mimic those voices. The magic just summoned some of your worst nightmares
Great.
that make you want to get the fuck out of Dodge.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, nice, good. Nice, good, cool. Yeah, okay, well, anyway.
In addition
so,
to like hurting your mind.
Yeah.
So
I don't even think, I imagine, yeah.
I changed.
So, you changed. You changed into something else, and not only that, but you kind of, afflicted me with, everything.
Sorry.
Bad, like a, no. It's very impressive. No wonder everything flies away. It seems that you tapped into what might harm somebody the most and weaponize it against them in a way that is not tangible. So that's interesting. That's very interesting.
Hmm.
Yeah. Oh. Okay, Willow like internally is like, wait a minute. Just remembered finds your deepest secrets, fears, and uses them against you, kind of rhetoric, and pauses. Like,
Well, it's not like I can read your mind. I don't know anything, whatever I changed into.
no, yeah, of course. Well, I think most people are terrified of general monstrosity vibes.
What
but
would happen?
Pardon, Luca.
What would happen if they used it on me?
Probably. Oh. That's a very good question.
And looking between the two of you, you want me to try?
I'm not sure.
Well, it's not going anywhere. Not anytime
Are you
soon.
willing to? No pressure. I mean, it's very unpleasant. I'm still. I mean,
I'm already, and like shakes out their arms, and I'm already ready to do it, so if you change your mind, we're both just here, filled with adrenaline.
I stand there and like stare at them for a moment, my head tilted very slightly. Then I shrug and I nod.
No.
Oh. Okay.
Hey?
Are you okay to do it in?
It doesn't hurt me. Actually, my
think
powers
it
are starting
does.
to feel pretty good.
Oh, okay. Well, anyway, I'll ignore what I said. Don't worry about me.
I mean, it's still disconcerting,
You're
don't
nice.
get me wrong.
Yes, that's what I'm trying to say.
I just feel like I'm not going to explode, you know?
Yeah. No. Okay. I think. Well,
It's a step in the right direction.
it is a step in the right direction, and that is a very curious thought to have. In any case, Willow claps Luca on the back. Are you sure?
I shrug. Presently, I have nothing to fear, so
You have a point there.
Okay. Willow's going to bow out with a little gesture of their hand. Does Willow have fish dog, by the way?
Yes.
now you
don't
can
worry, that's-
analyze from the outside.
Yeah. Willow's going to cure wounds themselves as well, just because they are like, they want to stop shaking, so they probably like figured did that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Roll for cure wounds.
And they need to be attentive now for Luca. They are full of dread for Luca.
Yeah, and
I rolled that wrong, didn't I?
Yeah. D8 plus 3.
Or I just hit this one. Why didn't it go? Oh, good. Okay,
Hey.
yay.
yeah, pretty good.
Back
My
to full.
health back.
Yeah.
Good job, Ben.
We'll talk more later. Once you're
No, you
feeling better.
won't.
About me. Don't
Okay.
talk about you.
I'm kidding. Anyway, we are both nervous for Luca, aren't we?
Yeah.
Okay.
Are you sure about this? And says, flexing their hands as they stand across from Luca.
Frog, what's the worst that can happen?
Don't ask that
dang
question, Luca.
I'm sturdy. I'll be fine.
Yep.
Your brain, though.
There's not much there to worry about.
That's what I'm worried about. All right.
Okay.
Let's
Roll
imagine
to...
Luca attacking me.
Yeah.
Oh.
So En hypes themselves up again and then throws their hand out.
Woof. Luca, make a wisdom saving throw. Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh.
That's a meaty
Uh-oh.
hit. And
Mm.
you don't even have the temp HP to back you up. Cool. So, and flings out their hands, and you see this like ripple of dark shadows. You hear these discordant voices. It sounds like the screams of the dying all around you. You feel like you are suddenly back on the battlefield. It's like one of your nightmares has just come to life, and you are filled with so much dread. Your like nose bursts with blood as you take 18 psychic damage and are like you run for your life.
Interesting.
It fades for a second, but like Luca, you have lagged at 30 feet away, and like are breathing heavily. Like you find your hand instinctively on your sword.
Luca?
But as like the moment fades away, all that's left is just like pain. And you know how to deal with pain.
Luca, are you okay?
So my whole body is like tense, as if I'm in the middle of combat. My hand is on my sword. It is slightly drawn. And then I hear N, and I just sort of take a breath. And I force myself to settle. And I wipe at my face.
Certainly hurts, but
And I give them like a wry smile and just say, well, there was nothing new, so.
Okay. Fish Dog's gonna nyom over to you and give you Cure Touch immediately, like just kind of whap you in the chest.
anyway, and you feel pretty drained now.
Yeah.
You don't think you have any more of those in you for a while. You need a...
Yeah. Need to sit down.
Yeah.
Sorry it wasn't more fruitful.
Cool.
Willow
Luca's
catches up.
still down 12.
Yeah.
But if you want to heal yourself up, Luca, you can.
Well, I'm not planning combat, so.
Also, I'm imagining that the shadow form that N took looked like more people. Like,
Yeah.
and copies of a human shape kind of sprouting out to stand beside. And still kind of all attached to N as a central shape, but like instead of wings, they're like silhouettes, human-shaped silhouettes.
Yeah.
Just
There's a lot
an
of
army,
visions of
one
eyes.
would say.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would say that's probably one of the main differences too. I imagined Luca's being quite equally visual, whereas Willow's was like an audible hit. Like
Yeah.
both of ours.
I mean,
were,
there's always audio with it.
But-
That's
yeah.
the
Yeah.
whispers part of dissonant whispers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I guess the part that I imagine. Oh no, I guess both in equal measure. I was going to say which part got to them worse, but I think they're both pretty bad.
Yep.
Oof.
I'm still at a distance. I haven't
Yeah.
Come back.
joined the others yet.
And we'll go over to Willow in the meantime, just watching Luca with a concerned look. And we'll probably pause before they get too close to Willow. And Willow can probably tell that they're, like, checking without speaking.
I'm fine.
Willow's okay
I'm
with
fine.
them approaching.
I'm fine. You're fine. That's interesting. And he'll be fine in a second.
Yeah. I'm sure.
He wants to find his memories as part of that.
Yeah, I know. I know, that's why. Wish I could have helped him, but,
Well, you did. So,
I scared the hell out of him.
in an attempt to help him, give yourself some credit. You already look exhausted.
And sits down beside Willow.
I think Willow's standing.
No, and
Oh,
sits
he's
down
sitting down on
beside
the floor.
Willow.
Oh.
And sits down in the sand next to Willow's ankles.
Yeah.
Aw. Fish dog will fly back over. Oh, I think fish dog's circling Luca.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What did I change into?
I think the best way to put it would be fear personified, sound and visual, all at once.
Well, that explains why everything kept getting so scared of me, I guess. Don't know what I expected.
No, it's good to know. Not only that, but it appears to force us to flee, even without really being aware of where we're going. Willow gestures at their wet pants. Or why? Willow has a brief look on their face, like they have just kind of recalled. I don't imagine that it like occurred to Willow what they were hearing at the time. Like it's kind of like
Mhm.
that kind of fear where it's a bodily fear, like you don't have that like
Yeah.
conscious fear. So
Yeah.
like they have the faintest hint of what they think happened in their little fear
Yeah.
bubble, and they just pass that away. So they shake that off and they say, anyway.
I
So
know you don't want to talk about
Pardon?
it, but I'm sorry if I brought something up.
oh, it's fine. That is the nature of what we're doing here. So what's interesting is that it could, if it did. I guess yes. Anyway, in any case, I don't tend to be frightened into the ocean, so that's new and very powerful.
Helpful at all?
Pardon?
Is it helpful at all?
To what do you mean?
Just your studies?
Oh, I suppose you'll be the one to let me know. I am studying your eye. I insight check you.
I guess so.
You
Unless-
sour little. What is
Unless
that?
Zeke says it's not sour. It's just thoughtful.
I know,
Just
I know it's not sour. That's why I'm insight checking you.
I will attempt to contest that.
Yeah.
Let me-
Deception check.
No.
Oh.
Oh.
That's what I thought.
Anne's exhausted.
Yeah, I know.
Anne's a little too tired to keep up the facade as good as they are used to.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
And
what does Willow read in Anne's expression?
hands on hips.
It doesn't seem like they're entirely interested in their own eye right now. And in regards to if research will be helpful. Since I got a
they weren't
natural one.
thinking. Yeah,
boy.
they weren't thinking about their own eye at all. They weren't thinking about this for selfish reasons at all.
Okay, then. Okay, Willow looks at N, tilts their head. Upon clicking, they they frown. Like it's like a smile goes. You're kidding.
What?
This is because of your eye, yes?
Yeah. It
Ugh.
is my eye.
No. Listen, before you try to give me charity experiments, please understand that I would do this of my own volition. What I am trying to research about your eye is your eye, yes? And what I know about my eye is my business. My eyes, rather. Please don't let that cloud your judgment next time. I would not be doing experiments like these on you and on Luca for that purpose.
Well, I'm obviously interested in the conclusions myself as well. They help you
Yeah,
so
it
much
just
the
happened
better,
to come up
but
today. They don't. So you can get that out of your mind and don't let it influence any of your questions to me in the future, please and thank you. Willow is now beginning to walk back towards their boat.
I'm sorry. I just wanted to help.
Well, you don't have to. Yes?
I know I don't have to.
Well, you shouldn't then, if I can be more specific. Or rather, if I can be even more specific, don't.
All right.
Yes?
Yes.
Thank you. I'm going to go finish my pastries. Hopefully Luca's not having... He looks fine.
How does Luca look?
He doesn't look fine, but
Well, and we'll go
He's
check on
n-
them.
he's not looking at either of you. So,
And we'll go over
Willow's
to them.
head red. Them being Luca and Fish Dog?
Yep.
Yep, cool. Willow's going to go to their boat.
You okay?
Hmm?
You feeling okay? Sorry.
I asked. It's fine.
Do you want to be left alone, or I did scare you?
I don't know. So, I should give this back to Willow. And I hold up Fish Dog.
Yeah. And rubs at their face. I
What's
think
wrong?
I'll go home. Or to the puppy. Sure feels like home.
I'm glad you have somewhere that feels like home.
Yeah.
What happened?
Oh, I think I royally pissed off Willow.
Should I not?
Oh, I'm sure you'll be fine.
Do you want me to come with you then?
No. Don't worry about it. Give Fish Dog back and...
Willow's going to lean over the side of their boat. Are you coming or not?
Hmm.
I'd like my Fish Dog back.
I'm
And I'm not
gonna
going to
put
eat all
Fish
these
Dog
pastries.
in N's hand and gesture.
Which dog sits in your hand like it's waiting to be tossed? It is perfectly capable of flying back up to Willow,
Yeah.
It is.
but it just like kind of sits there looking like beeping expectantly.
And we'll, like, lift it into the air towards Willow's boat, but they will follow it back towards the boat.
I'm going to wait
Willow-
outside for a moment.
And probably doesn't notice that Luca's not with them by the time they go back into the boat. And then they
Good one.
freeze. Willow?
How's Luca?
He's
Bad?
getting
You look
there.
behind him.
Yeah.
You look behind him. You and Luca's still sort of standing next to the ocean.
I think I freaked him out pretty bad.
Willow takes Fish Dog back. Get it out of your mind that you freaked him out. His memories freaked him out, whether he knows them or not. Or his fears. Even if you don't have memories, you have fears. His fears frightened him. We willingly experimented. It's not your fault. Yes?
Yeah. I wasn't trying to pry or step on your toes.
I know. I know. Sorry for...
No, it's fine. I understand. I mean, if you talked to me 3 weeks ago, I would have been pretty pissed off too.
In any case...
So, Luca,
This is going back with you
what's
guys.
up with you?
Who is this?
Yeah.
Carry on, Luca.
Yeah. Luca, what's on your mind? What are you doing?
I'm just standing and thinking.
You listen to the sort of sound of the waves lapping up against the shore.
Yeah.
Look out of the ocean. You look north and then towards the west.
Just remapping the land that I can recognize.
You know that somewhere beyond the horizon, there's Karnath. And whoever misses you. I think
Not sure
that's
if I
where
want
we'll
that right now. I just want to be alone.
Yeah.